God damn it.
Jim, we're driving in circles. You're driving out.
What are they?
You believe in monsters?
Promise me.
Oh, my mic is muted. What's up, people? What is going on? Welcome, welcome. We are back with another episode of the review. And I was just about to say I'm going to go a little bit solo until Brian gets here, but then boom, Brian pops up. Seems to be having a little bit of issues over there, but it's all good. I'm sure it'll pop in. There we go. What's up, Brian? What's going on? Nope, can't hear you, brother. You muted or something?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, okay. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Okay,
Not
right from
muted.
so I took my wife to the ballet. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wait, what?
Yeah, I took my wife to the ballet.
Oh, so you cultured?
Yeah, so went to the Joffrey Ballet. So
you cultured. Look at you. Next is the opera.
It was at the opera house.
Oh, was that the opera house? Okay, so next you're gonna go see an opera.
Nah, I'll probably sleep.
What's up, man? Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Hey, I'm Brian the Grizzly, 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. We go live on Mondays and Thursdays, and Saturday we do silo reviews. And I'm here with Nzo. Cannot wait to talk about this episode. I've been so looking forward to talking about this.
Nikisha said looking forward to it as well. So what, did you find out any new information?
Let me pull up my notebook because I was writing it down as I was watching. I was like, "What? Look at this."
All right. So keep that because I wanted to discuss a few things first, right? The interview that I sent you with the producers, did you see it?
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
What did you think of it?
So it was a few things that I thought about with them. First of all, they didn't want to give us any answers. That was the biggest thing. They didn't want to give us anything.
You muted again. Looks like you might have a short in that thing or something.
I don't know what they just did that. Well, it seems like we're overthinking things, and then they're saying, "Oh, I didn't even realize that was happening." Or, as one of them said, there's things that call happy accidents. They're doing it; they don't even realize they're doing it, but it's something that we're peeping from the outside, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess I was subconsciously doing these things, setting these things up." Now that the show director did a lot of the paintings. From like all the season 1, season 2, season 3, Miranda's paintings and some of Victor's paintings and stuff like that, and didn't even put two and two together, but he did do it on purpose. Certain things that he was painting, and he was like, "Oh, I guess that is Smiley. I guess that is," like, he didn't even realize that he was painting something, and then use that same theme later on in the season. So I thought that was pretty smart.
Absolutely. And it was funny too, right? Because like you said, they didn't really give us any information, but they gave us a few things. They told us one that
it's
the
not
worms.
purgatory.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Or a dream. So that's very interesting, right? Yeah. But one thing that I actually found more interesting than anything was, hold on, let me bring it up. I'm not going to bring up the video. I'm not going to play the video, but when they asked if these were the same things, and he said, "Stay tuned."
Yep, he surely did.
I don't know. I'm kind of convinced that it's not the same thing anymore. What do you think?
I agree. I believe it's something totally different that it's not intentional, and we're going to see it and know what's going on.
Right, because we've seen it already. So if it was the same thing, they'd have been like, yes, it was the same thing, right? There would have been no reason for them to actually sit down there and say, you know what? Let's keep that a secret unless it's something different than what we thought it was. So I found that very interesting. I was like, okay, I can get down with that.
I actually loved a lot of the stuff that they're saying together about their vision and what we're going to get in season 4, and about specific characters, and then even Jim and the loss of Jim, and like it seemed like a lot of stuff is still like they know where they're heading, but the journey is still kind of not all the way planned out.
This is why I'm like, are we ever gonna find out answers? Because they literally said that when they killed Smiley, they knew they had to bring him back. They just didn't know how they were gonna bring him back until they're like, oh, Fatima being pregnant, let's use that. So I'm like, okay, so how are we gonna figure everything out? Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, if you guys, so I like the fact that they know where they're going, they know how it's gonna end, but the stuff in between and how they're gonna get there, they don't even know it yet. They don't even know it yet. What's up, Nikisha? Yeah,
the show like creators might know a little bit more, but the director, who is like the third person that does all this stuff, has no clue what's going on.
Facts. And so that's a good thing, you know, because we're sitting here, we're breaking it down, we're trying to figure out, we may not, but we may actually come up with a few answers to where it's like, okay, so we're kind of on the same path. Because you sent that little clip and you're saying that you saw a video where they were talking about the picture was Adam
and Eve.
Yeah.
And that Ellis and Fatima actually represented Adam and Eve. And that made me start thinking about, okay, what is this, the Garden of Eden? Because I've always said it was the Garden of Eden, right? I've always said it, and you always said that the picture is both is Ellis
Adam and Eve. Yes.
You said that, and I was like, man, so what if this is, you know, it's not, because it's not purgatory, but what you know, if it's the Garden of Eden? Maybe it's something like, maybe it's the serpent. Maybe, you know, the man in yellow is the serpent. Maybe it's the devil. Maybe that picture that we saw, the red, is the actual devil.
Yes. You see, and that's why I like this, because you cook sometimes, bro. And I'm saying the same thing, right? Because remember, I was saying that little smoke monster thing that we kept seeing above the bed. That's something. It's not just like some little kid's imagination or whatever. I believe that's the bad, right? And then when you look at the man in yellow, you see that his eyes are black. So to me, he's been possessed. And I've said it before, and again, we don't take nobody's theories here. We come up with our own stuff. And if we do agree with someone's theory, we actually let you know, like we heard this from someone else. You know what I mean? So we don't do that here. But what I was saying is that because his eyes were black, I don't think he, and I said it in one of my videos that I have coming up, that I think he was like either a fake prophet or an actual man of God who figured that, you know, I can do, you know, this and we can be immortal. And they did something where it was maybe tricked. They thought they were talking to, you know, a higher power, God, but it was actually the devil, which was the man in yellow. And they did what they're supposed to do. And he took over that guy's body.
The thing that made me think about Supernatural, right? Because that was also filmed near where they're doing this in Canada, near the same place, right? And I was thinking, okay, so anytime it was a demon, you saw their eyes turn fully black to let you know the demon was inside that character. So I thought about that too, and then it kind of just made sense, because when you said it, I was like, yeah, this, I can see it happening, but it makes sense. And we all know possession, and if it's dealing with supernatural along with time travel and all these things, kind of goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. And I think we got even a glimpse of possession, because Sarah stopped hearing the voices after she went to the ruins. And then she put that thing together, and boom, the voices came back, right? So
and
that
they talked about that. They said, and they're like, yeah, you know, they didn't want to answer it, but they were like, yeah, it's something, yeah, some of your possessions, yeah, it could, yeah, possess certain things. And kept saying possess. I was like, one thing that possesses anything that I know are demons.
Yeah. 100%. So I think that there's a little bit more, like I said, there's a little bit more into the man in yellow. And I was just like, oh, that's very interesting that you brought that up. You sent it to me, because I've been saying that from the start. I'm like, yo, that looks like Ellis and Fatima. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? And you've been calling the Garden of Eden from day one. And you guys, we can always go back and just watch our videos and see
Check it
when we
out.
did it. Yeah. I don't remember anybody ever really saying that about the Garden of Eden. Now, maybe there were, and I never seen their streams, but I heard it first through you, you know?
I was actually thinking about the man in yellow. So Ethan said in this episode, he says, Julie, you killed Norman when they're playing the RV because he was playing with the animal, right? He said, Julie killed Norman. He said it to Tabitha. And that made me think, what if we find out the man in yellow's name is Norman? And they told us in episode 3 that Julie's the only way to kill Norman.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. 100%. When I started thinking about Julie and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? I think because people have their roles to play, right? Of course, Tabitha has a role, Jade has a role. I think, and I said this, and I'm doing a video on it, right? The Matthew family absolutely mirrors Victor's family, right? And I'm going to do a video on it. I have a video that I wrote. I'm going to do a video on it, but I'll just break it down why I think so a little bit here, right? So yeah, they both had 2 kids. Well, Tabitha and them had a third kid that died.
We're going to have a third kid, but the third kid had to die because it was no longer.
They needed 2.
Exactly.
Right. So now when you get to the town, Ethan was the first one to see the boy in yellow. The boy in white. He was the first one. He called the boy in white his friend, which Victor called the boy in white his friend. Right. So I'm like, okay, so if they have 2 kids, they're Jim, right? Jim was skeptical. He thought he could fix Tabitha. Thought she was a problem. Henry had the same problem. Now the difference is that Miranda went to the town but left Henry. Jim went to the town. So I believe if Miranda had left with Henry would have been the one to die.
Tabitha and Henry and why am I forget his name already? Tabitha and Jim were going to have a divorce, getting a divorce.
Yes.
They're getting ready to separate.
Yes.
So guess what would have happened? Jim would have been sitting there like Henry, and like Tabitha would have ended up in the town. Regardless, the way things were set up, they were trying to get Tabitha alone, and the same thing would have happened as Miranda.
Absolutely, 100%. So I believe Jim being there stopped Tabitha from being the one to get killed, and I think Miranda got killed because Henry wasn't there. I also think that Eloise is alive, and Eloise is a story walker just like Julie was. That's why she was so hard to find.
She's going through all the time. And I think that Julie's going to be looking for someone to teach her how to do it, and Eloise is going to pop up and start to show her how to do it.
And Julie's going to be the one that able to, I guess you could say, perfect it. You know what I'm saying? So I've always said, I think what we're watching is what's been happening every reincarnation, right? So we may not get a definitive end to this show. It may end like it started. Or like it's supposed to start, you know, with Ethan coming out of the shed and not Victor. And again, Keisha was the one that brought that up first, and I agree with that 100%. No, I really do.
You know? Even more than that, I think so. They could bring back Eloise. She teaches Julie how to do all this stuff, right? Julie is now a story walker with Eloise. They're both doing these same things. And as you said, the town goes through the same exact stuff. Everyone dies, and then all the monsters now change into these new iconic characters from this last period that passed through. So someone's gonna be dressed up as Boyd. Someone's gonna be dressed up, like you know what I'm saying, like all these characters that we come to love. They're gonna all dress up like him. So that'll be like the last scene. You see someone dressing up like Kenny. You know, so you're gonna start seeing all those things. I think that will be hilarious.
Absolutely, and it would make sense as to why. Because when I really look on their clothes, I think some of their clothes look like they're dated from different time periods, right? So that would actually make sense as to why, you know, some of them have outdated looking clothes, some of them are a little bit more updated. So I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you.
Hilarious. I love it.
You know what I mean? Another thing that they talked about is I think he gave a little explanation of why the man in yellow was there. And he
Mhm.
does say that, the guy started off and he was like, happy doing his dance and stuff. And then years later, see him was saying he
Came back,
was
he was
beat.
saying, look all
That's
tattered and everything,
Yes,
yeah.
that's why I think that the man in yellow doesn't start off as a bad guy. I think when we get to the flashback, you may not trust him. Maybe he's been tricked by something, but I think he's going to be one of those characters like you're going to think is a nice guy, like, oh, you know what? He's really good, So that might be interesting. And Carla Olson said, Tabitha's third child died from a phone call distraction. Who was on the phone? Tell her your theory about that. Tell her your theory.
So I think it's the town. The town literally called, just like if it's the man in yellow, he called to distract them right at that time because they had to lose that child to maintain the parallel lines between the two families. Because if you lost the parallel lines, then you can't continue the same thing over and over again. So Thomas had to die.
Yes.
For everyone to get to where they need to go, for them to get to the town. Because if Thomas lived, now they have 3 kids. There's no reason for Tabitha to leave Jim. There's no reason for any of these things to happen. They don't have any split between them.
Yes.
Then there's no reason to go to From. There's no
Exactly.
Fromville does not exist for them.
Exactly.
As soon as you lost Thomas, you're able to go ahead and get this stuff.
Absolutely, 100%. He said, yes, I never even thought of that. Right. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because like you said, that Thomas event started a chain reactions of things that happened that led them to go there, because Julie said, I know what this trip was about. This was the final trip you guys were going to tell us you were getting a divorce, right? Yep. Without any of that happening, then
they would still been together. They would have been a happy family. They never would have had to go on this trip. They would have been together all this time, and everyone would have been well off. So it's like they forced it on you. And I'm starting to think some of our regular characters are reincarnations of those monsters too. I'm starting to think it's not a coincidence that Christy's there and that the nurse is there. Like how those things kind of start to add up. When you really start thinking about Kenny and the milkman always rings twice, right? And like he's the milkman, right? The milkman is the one who say, man, you don't look your father, you probably look like the milkman. So cheating on someone, that's Christy, right? Christy is with Marielle, right? I'm just saying some of these things are starting to get a little bit too coincidental, and maybe that's why they take these lives of these people.
And you know what's funny? Now that you said that, it could be possibility, right? Because people say, oh, well, no, because they keep being reborn, so they're still alive. But they don't seem like they have a soul. That's the difference. Yes, they don't have a soul, right? They are 100% creatures. They may have memories of their past lives or everything, but they don't have souls. So if you're saying that it could be reincarnated from people from the town, could be the creatures, yeah, it could be 100%. 100%. Said it could be a story of hope for a hospitalized Thomas. I think, well, yeah, I got you. I know what you mean by that, 100%. But they say it's not no one's dream or anything like that.
It's not a dream. It's really happening. Yes.
Yeah, it's really happening. So you have to think of what they've given us and the correlations. Like I said, the Matthew family and the Victor family is 100% like mirroring each other so far. So
it's not coincidence that we got introduced to From through the Matthews family.
Facts.
There's an importance with that.
Facts, 100%.
Yeah, the producers debunked that. Yeah,
debunked exactly. What? Yeah.
They debunked it. It's a dream. It's not a dream.
Yeah.
It's not purgatory. It's none of those things.
Yeah, it's actually happening. 100%. They also asked about if the creatures eat the organs, and they said, "Stay tuned."
Stay tuned.
Yes, yes, 100%. I've said it again. That's something I've said. Yes, they eat the organs. And then when you see Fatima, how she's craving blood, yeah, I'm sure they eat the organs. 100%. Yep. You know what I mean? I just think we're gonna get a real review of them eating someone very important, their organs. Like they're gonna kill somebody, maybe Donna. All right, I'm just putting it out there, right? And we're actually gonna see them actually eat someone's like a beloved character's organs to make it hit even harder, right? Because they've been hiding
that would
that.
hurt. That would hurt.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
What else did
I
yeah,
got
go
a
ahead.
question for you. So,
Sure.
why are the trees moving? So,
Bro, bro.
if they are the Nkui kids, right? If it's their hope went into the trees, why are the trees moving away from the town? Victor literally said the trees are moving and it's getting further and further away. Why are they doing that if they're the kids?
I think the reason why nobody can find the town is because the town moves. Just like the island in Lost, the town moves. So every time it moves, those trees maybe move a little bit, and that's showing you that this town is moving. That's why people can't find it.
Because we never stay in the same place twice.
Exactly. Right. So it only calls the people there that need to be there. And by doing so, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. That's definitely true. But we were on the same point, because when I seen that part, I was like, yeah, that's a question we have to answer. Why the hell are the trees moving? I thought the trees was swallowing the town. No, I don't think the trees are swallowing the town. That would be interesting.
But
Go ahead.
So it's the little things. So, we talk about the Nkui kids and the fact that their hope, whoever told them that story before they died, that hope caused their blood to go into the ground, to the roots of the trees, and they became like the trees, right? So if that's the case, that are they moving because the town, or because they want to move, because those roots are moving? Are they moving it? So is the town alive, really a living, breathing thing?
Absolutely. Do you think we're gonna get answers to the trees moving though?
I think we actually will get answers to the trees. I think the kids, they're going to find more things about the kids. I think we will understand more about the trees.
Absolutely.
Because Victor has been talking about it too often. He talked about it season 1, talked about it season 2. He hasn't did it as much as season 3 because he had more stuff going on his mind. But the fact that was on his mind and they kept on bringing that same fact up, I feel like that they're going to eventually give us an answer.
And then he was trying to chop down the faraway tree too as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we're going to get answers to that. Carla said, why no motel and it's all moving? That's the question that I think I need to be answered too. How come there's a motel sign and everything, but there's absolutely no motel?
They talked about I think it was a Stargazer Hotel, like the sign. And then when we got into season 2, the type of sign was gone. And then they was like, well, what happened to it? And they said basically it's a harsh winter. The sign got blown down.
Yeah, that would be a Nova Scotia winter for you. I can tell you that. 100%. They also said that those first Nikisha said, I think Julie will be the storyteller. Interesting. What do you mean storyteller? Because she's a story walker right now, what they called her, right? And I'm guessing Ethan. Interesting. It's interesting. What else do we find out? That there were not worms in Sarah's arms.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. That was them actually talking through Sarah. There was no worms there.
I still think that they were telling her to kill the boy in white and not Ethan. I really believe that. I think
I wish you would ask that.
Huh? Yeah,
I wish you would ask that.
I know. I think the hotel is a hint to a map in a zodiac. Interesting.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the hotel could be like some sort of portal or something. I don't know. We'll see. But there's just a reason why there's no hotel there. You know what I mean? There's a reason why we have a sign, but no hotel there. What else did they say?
Well, I got one more thing. I got a question for everybody. So
Go
you guys
ahead.
remember the names of Ethan's books? So in this episode, we had Jim go back to the RV and go grab Ethan's books. So I feel like something about this meant something. So the Adventures of the Grand Gulagog, and Flight of the Kramanako, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're gonna start hearing names and realize these stories are mirroring things that are happening in this town. What does
Facts.
that mean? I don't know. Does it mean that, as you said before, that Ethan is making up some of this story? Is it following what Ethan's saying? Is he the real storyteller?
Yeah, facts. Facts, 100%. Because I agree with you on that one, right? Because it seems like he knows a lot more and he's giving information, like he's telling, oh, you're the story walker. So he's taking hints from his stories, you know, and applying them to real life, which I said another connection to him and Victor was he's the storyteller, but Victor used to paint pictures, right?
Mhm.
So Victor paint pictures, but he tells the story. So it's very interesting.
But did Victor paint pictures?
Or I don't think he painted all of them. Who do you think it was?
Because Eloise, if Eloise, what says she was actually going through all the stuff that
Oh,
Judah's going through,
yeah.
and she couldn't explain what was going on. But through a child, the best way to explain what's going on, because that's why some of the stuff is telling things that are going to happen in the future. Because she's been to the future, she already knows, she saw it, and she's painting it.
That's possible.
But she can't explain.
Yeah, 100%. How do you kill the boy in white? Maybe killing Victor? I don't know. But I think, and again, I take clues from Lost and thing. I don't think that the man in yellow can kill the boy in white. I think it has to be someone in the town that has to be able to do it. How? I don't know. I'm not sure, right? But I'm pretty sure if that's the case, it's gonna be something like that. You know what I mean? Like Brian said, one may be the devil, one may be like God. You know, that's why he's in white. So when Jade was looking at the strings, he was looking for the Akui kid point of view through the sign and up in the Cyrus constellation. Yeah, you're talking about when he was in the tunnel, right?
In the tunnel. And
Yeah.
he was looking up at the roots and how it was placed that way, and that is, you know, the exact same. The constellation is exactly the same thing.
Interesting. I don't know what it means, but when Ethan tells Victor to keep him updated on the moving trees, Victor says, I'll keep you in the loop. 100%. Like they're all stuck in a loop and Victor has something to do with it. You know what? It is a loop. Yes.
You're there.
Yeah.
So we won't know the whole story, because we understand the end of the beginning has happened, right? But we don't know the story because we don't understand how Victor survived with the monsters all that time by himself. Until we figure that out. And I don't think Victor remembers. I think Victor like literally forgot on purpose. And he left himself clues if he needed to remember. But until we know about what happened with Victor, with the boy in white, and all those monsters for all those years, until someone else came, we won't know.
I agree. 100%. 100%. And it's funny, like you said, that after all this time, Victor was the one to survive, not to mention, even when he got older, they didn't try to kill him because he didn't have talismans, right? We didn't have talismans until Boyd was there. So they just let Victor do what he needed to do, which kind of makes sense because when he got in the tunnel, they were like, if you keep coming down here, you're going to stay permanently.
Yep. But they didn't say they're going to kill him.
Exactly.
They said, you're going to stay permanently.
Yeah. You're right. Victor definitely has something to do with it again. And I believe that if it is a loop and we're just seeing one version of the loop and it ends with the loop starting over again, then it's going to be Ethan that's going to have Victor's role in the next loop. You know what I mean? So that's going to be very interesting. They talked about, hold on, what else was it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the scar on the man in yellow's face in the picture.
Yeah.
They didn't confirm that either. What did you think about that?
Confirm nor deny. They said,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they just kind of moved on.
So I think they know what's going on. You know what I mean? I know they said they don't really follow social media as much. I think they do. Right. And I think they know.
They said that the original, the people that started off on this stuff, that created they said they follow social media, or the director who came later said they follow social media. Even though they said, we look at a couple of things every once in a while, but the director later said, hey, no, they follow social media. I'm just letting you know. I don't keep up with social media as much as they do. So,
Facts.
well.
They have to, you know what I mean? Like they have to. There's a behind the scenes segment on MGM called "And to Victor Goes the Spoils." I think that's a clue. I definitely got to check that out. The symbol with the Sorellis constellation is possibly like a timer map to escape from when a certain star alignment happens once every 44 to 47 years. Some kind of evil is unleashed. That's interesting, which kind of makes sense because if you look at the reincarnation, it's around what, every 40 years or something like that.
Years, because I mean, look at how old Victor was. Like he's 57 now. You know, if this happened 45 years ago, you know, he was 13, 12, 13.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Boy in white is devil. Also, the white is a deception. Victor took those clothes to click and act in the tunnels. He was lying down there, I think, before the talismans. Victor made a deal with boy in white, maybe. You see, I was right there with you.
I think Victor did something. I think Victor doesn't know. That's why he seems so innocent to us. He doesn't remember. But I think he said something. He's promised that he will lead the next people to them.
Yeah, something.
And they don't know about it. And Victor doesn't remember, but all his clues are going to lead everyone to where they need to go.
And it's funny because I was right there with you. I used to think that the boy in white was the baddie, right? It just seemed like, you know, you have this boy in white looking so innocent and he's not. I don't think he's bad. He may not be 100% good, right? I always compare him to the Jacob character in Lost. Jacob wasn't a bad guy, right? He wasn't bad, but he wasn't like this all righteous good guy. He did things. He manipulated people into trying to do his bidding. I think that's what the boy in white may be doing. He may be manipulating them, trying to save them too, but also a manipulation. There could be a little manipulation there as to why he's doing what he's doing. And he's not just coming out and saying, this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? Like, just come on, say it then. This is what you need to do to stop the man in yellow, but he's not doing that. So
he said, Christopher, he claims that he told Christopher it didn't work, right? But then I believe Christopher is the one who killed all the people in the town before.
I got you.
So I'm wondering who manipulated him into doing that. And if the only person he talked to regularly
was the boy in white. Absolutely. Panel, do you guys think maybe the boy in white and the man in yellow are competing or adversaries? That's a good question. They may be adversaries, but so far, you know, again, it's not like the boy in white is giving information and telling people, hey, there's a man in yellow coming or something like that. Like, there's no information whatsoever. So he may have his own agenda, 100%, right?
He's part of the town. I think he's literally part of the town. And he's doing what needs to be done to keep the town alive, right? So his responsibilities, I want to keep the town going. That's why he took care of Victor. That's why he made sure that he was out of harm's way. Someone needed to be here to keep the town alive, right?
Absolutely.
And that's his job. And then the man in yellow's job is to, you know, kill all these people.
Absolutely.
Consume their organs to keep them going. That's what they eat. So that's his job. He runs it. But the boy in white is to make sure that it keeps it going. They both had two different jobs. I think they're more partners than they are adversaries. I think we're going to find that out later.
Interesting. I do know, or at least I do believe, that the man in yellow is the leader of the creatures. I 100% believe that. You know what I mean? I believe he controls everything. So that's going to be interesting to see. What did the boy in white do good in your opinion? Because everything he's done so far is sus.
It's sus. I agree. He's been real sus to me.
No, me too. 100%. I said that many times, right?
Yeah,
he pushed Tabitha out the window, and it's like, here, you know, I have no choice. Has to be, but like, you don't
he
even
did it
like,
just to bring Henry in.
Yeah.
He did it because once again, he's protecting Victor, right?
Yes.
Because Victor has a job to do. So he brought Henry in. So I feel like everything was an ulterior motive.
Absolutely. Said the boy in white is probably like a free agent. They probably can't do anything to him, so they pretend he doesn't exist. Probably. I do think it's going to be more about two different sides playing singular
Singular
games
game.
versus good versus evil. They say that's interesting too, which could be a possibility. I still do believe it will have elements of good and evil in there, 100%, but I also I'm not 100% convinced that the boy in white is all good. I'm just not.
I think it's gonna be good and evil, but I think the good is going to end up being Julie.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Julie's going to be the essence of good.
That makes sense. It makes sense. Um, is it a fact that the creatures can't come out during the day, or is that just what we assume because they don't come out so far in the story? That's a good question too. You know what I mean? And okay, so if they could, why wouldn't they? That would be the question, right? And now I can answer that question by saying they take it as a game. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So to them, it's a game. It's like, yeah, we don't have to, because you're trapped here, right? We're trapped here.
I think they
So, and
follow the
that's,
rules.
yes,
Like
yes.
you said, it's a game. They're following the rules because they enjoy the game. The rules are they can't do this stuff. They can't come out at night. They only can do certain things, and they know they're going to get you. That's
Mhm.
why, as they said in season 1, that's why they walk.
Yeah,
What's the need to run? Because they know
yeah,
they're going to get you. Kenny told us.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? And that was a question that they asked. Could they run? Yeah, they could run, but they didn't need to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we don't need to run. We can wait. Now, how long can they go without eating organs? That's the question, right? Because you see, in the first episode, there was 96 days without an incident.
Mm-hmm.
So
Didn't
it's
bother them none.
yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. So if that's the case, we'll see, you know.
Or
Push
maybe
Tabitha.
if you have that much time without an incident, they have to bring another family in.
Yeah, maybe. And then yeah, that's interesting. Push Tabitha out the window so she could bring back Henry and Acosta. We don't know if there's God told Sarah to make Boyd go through the tree, which led to Cicadas and Smiley's rebirth. Oh, if they're good. I got you. Yeah, and I believe Henry was there to help Victor, and Acosta was brought back to be a thorn in Boyd's side.
What side?
Yeah, and I still think that's gonna happen. Exactly. Maybe they're just following the rules, but what happens if the creatures stop following the rules and start coming out during the day?
Then you
Well, I
screw.
mean, it could also be maybe they needed the man in yellow to come around before they could come out in the day too as well. Again, like you said, we don't actually know if they could because we didn't think they could run and they could run, right? So now we don't actually know if maybe they can come out in the day and they just don't do it. I think they made Granny retire after she let Ethan's little ass get away. Interesting. So what other takes did you get from this episode, man?
I definitely had this one for Jim. Maybe what Jim was doing was right, writing all those questions on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Before. So when we started writing all those questions on the wall, I think that's another reason why they had that house had to collapse, because some of those questions might start to have them thinking about things, and then all of a sudden they start talking and they figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the stuff that Jim was saying was probably right. Jim was right the last episode. Jim was probably right at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jim was right by asking the right questions. You know what I mean? And now that we're talking about Jim, because the more I go back, the more I can't stand fucking Tabitha. So there's this scene here, right? Where, Julie wants to go and she's like, no. And here.
Kid takes after her mother. Come.
Her rolling the eyes and like, like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This man just sent you a compliment. You know what I mean? It's like he's strong, like, and you rolled your eyes. Yeah, I was like, yeah, bro. And I think they did that on purpose because I do think, no, I don't think we dislike Jim in the first season. I think Jim did all the right things in this season. You know what I mean? Like he did all the right things. I think it's when they failed, that's when it started to be like, okay, you know, maybe I gotta go about this a wrong way, you know. Jim was right, always right. Yes, 100%. Hey, what's up, Carmenako? How you doing, brother? Thanks for
how you
popping
feeling?
in. Hope y'all are well. We are doing good. Jim wasn't the same after the house landed on him. Exactly, right? Because Jim was doing all of this stuff and he failed. And I think he has that little speech with Tabitha where he tells her, like, listen, this town made me do some things and do certain things, and it didn't work out for me. So I don't want that same thing to happen to you. You know what I mean? So
he tried to start to really support Tabitha a lot. And how about this? The fact that he actually supported Tabitha and all this stuff in this third season, what we've been asking him to do for all this time, because he's been an ass and all the whatever other stuff, is the thing that got him killed.
Yeah.
Him supporting Tabitha got him killed.
Facts. Facts, 100%. 100%. The minute he said he was going to support you and I'm down with you, yeah, we knew it's okay, Jim, your time is gone. Your time is gone. You know what I mean? And I think so. I think like as I watch this, I'm like, yeah, I can't stand Tabitha. I hope she does something to redeem herself when this season 4 comes up, because if she just brushes off his death like it's nothing, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have issues with that.
She went into a depression after Thomas's death. I think she's gonna go into a depression after Jim. Either that or she's going to replace him in some way in her mind.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. You think because she's going to realize that her and Jade are soulmates or whatever, connected. If they do that, bro, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm going to be very upset. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have someone call them out too.
I want them to honor.
Who just died for you that you told to stand right here and he doesn't get killed.
And I'm going to say this to all you Jim fans, because I know you guys came out of the WordWorks a couple of weeks ago, but they at least need to honor his death. You know what I mean? I personally still think he's going to be in the show. I think he's going to come back as like one of those ghosts, like Father Kotri and the Tom, the bartender guy. Yeah. So I think he's going to come back as one of those. And it may be Tabitha who sees him, or maybe Julie, like you said. It may be either him or Julie that see him, which would kind of make sense if it's Julie, to make it more desperate that she wants to save her father, because she keeps having visions of him. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know you're not my father. My father is dead. So that would be interesting. Jim and Julie are the Carmenacos. Tabby and Jade are not the heroes.
I agree. Yeah. I think they're the ones to keep the thing going, keep the whole thing spinning. And as long as they do what they do, we're gonna keep on going over and over the same cycle. But the people that can stop it are definitely Jim and Julie, and that's why they got to get rid of Jim, but they still got Julie, who now is the story walker who can change things.
Absolutely, it makes a lot of sense. Panel, have you seen Cayuga Lake movie? There are things in that movie remind me of From. Never seen it.
No, me either.
Cayuga,
and listening to the producers and the creator, he kind of developed from a lot of different things. So you might be right, pull from a lot of different things, and that's why it's very similar to Lost. It's very similar to a lot of like campy type of things, because that's the thing he was looking at. But apparently he wrote it in 2016. So any movie that's like 2013, 14, 15, I've kind of helped get us to this.
Absolutely. And you know what's funny about that? People said, oh, people are comparing it to Lost, and they said, no, we don't think it's like Lost. That was very interesting to me, because I've seen so many Lost connections in this show, and maybe it's just the way they make the show, whatever, because that's how, it's a mystery box show, right? And I think, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I remember, Lost was like the first of its kind to be like that kind of a mystery box show like this show is now, right? So I can understand where the parallels come in, but they've always said that this show is a character show. right? And this was the same with Lost. So I can understand those connections, but I just think that there's a lot. It's just a lot deeper than that, and they might be trying to throw us off like, hey, no. Yeah, we love that we're connected to one of the top shows, but it's nothing like that. No, I think it's bait and
They were
switch,
all
man.
writers on Lost. They all had they
Yes.
worked on Lost. So of course they're going to do things to make it very similar because it was a successful show. It's one of the most successful shows ever. So why would you not want it like Lost?
Facts. Said as a good movie if you like From. I'll check
Yeah,
it
I wrote
out.
it down. I actually wrote it down. So you said it.
Yeah, and Brian watches like all type of movies and stuff. So yeah, definitely
When we're
check
done
it
with
out
this
as
one, I
well.
probably won't be looking at that now. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I will too, actually. Just saw Heretic 2024 Heretic 2024 today. That's it. And what a good movie. Gave me kind of From vibes. The actor would play an amazing big bad in that. I never seen it, you know.
You will
I never
know.
seen it.
Yeah, you'll know Heretic. Heretic is it's suspenseful, so that's why you'll definitely feel like that too. A big suspense. But what's his name? You know it. Hugh Grant.
Oh, okay. I got you. I know which one you're talking about. I never seen it. I know which movie you're talking about. Kato Lake is more dark Netflix than From, to be honest, more time travel. All right,
I
I'll check
like
it out.
time travel too. So
Heretic came out last month. Yeah, I know the movie you're talking about. I didn't get to see it yet, but definitely something that's on the list there. Now, here's the part that Brian was talking about where it's the trees, right? I don't remember, at least not in this episode. He didn't confirm that the trees were moving. I think we get that confirmation a little bit later. But this is also what I was talking about too,
What?
because
Forget it.
he tells him about
hold
the
on,
boy
hold
in white.
What do you mean lives out here?
He's always walking around out here. And I never see him inside, so I figured he lived out here somewhere.
Is that right?
We're friends.
We're friends, right? So far, I think that the boy in white has been having a little bit more interactions with Ethan at this point than we actually seen, right? Because for what we always seen is just him showing up and waving or something like that. So it's possible that they might have a little bit more interaction than we actually thought for him to call them friends. What do you think?
it's interesting to see him hear him saying we're friends, and then for people to ask, is Ethan the man in yellow? Because then once again, I think they're partners. I think the boy in white and man in yellow are partners. If that's the case, oh, I mean, I would be very upset with Ethan, grown up Ethan, if he went and killed his father.
It'd be interesting. I know. But then if that's the case, then we would really have to get a good explanation as to why that ends up happening, right? The possession, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the demon that comes out possesses someone different at each time, or I don't know. It's
He
weird.
wants to live forever.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
he
want to
needs
die.
a
I want
little
to live
boy.
my story tale, the story that I'm telling. I want it to be forever.
Oh man, I'm a cook. We always said that the little boy, or the last one, the boy in white, was the guy, a Kui kid that got away, right?
Okay.
Victor, I think, was supposed to be taking the place of one of the Kui kids that died. It's not him. He ended up getting older. It's Ethan. But what if it's not to kill them? What if it's to take over the body of a little boy, so that you can be in the real world starting off as a little boy instead of an adult kid, man? Live
That
longer.
is interesting. What if I just change it a little bit and say that the boy in white is now becoming the man in white, and he's a teenager, he's going, next thing he's going to be the man in white because he ages, and the only way for him to not age is to take over the body of a little boy.
That could be interesting too. Maybe the man in yellow, because I always say that there's a big bad, and I don't think it's the man in yellow yet. I think there's something else. What if the big bad is the boy in white?
Yep. Everyone works for him.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see here what we got. It's wild seeing Ethan so small. He's grown up so much. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why they got to hurry up and film, because you can't just sit there and let Ethan keep on
Facts.
getting older.
Facts.
8 feet tall.
Facts. They were able to work around the snow, but you're not going to be able to work around Ethan getting bigger, and they'll have the same issue that they had in Lost with Michael's son. You know what I mean? So yeah, you want to make sure you get to film it. I think the entity might take fuel from kids. That's why the kids are targets. I agree. I think that they needed to sacrifice the kids to get there, but I think he needed one kid so that he could take over their body. And because that kid got away, he ended up taking over the body of the man in yellow, the man who started it all, right? And that's why a kid keeps coming in there, because he needs to possess a child and not a man. That will bring him into the real world.
Ooh.
Huh. Hey there, Fletch. Good to see you. Yep, he will be 6 feet tall by next season.
I'm telling you, man, I can see it. He was such a cute little kid, and he's becoming a great actor. He's becoming, he's just bigger. Like every time you see him, he's like, oh man, he's not that kid anymore.
Yeah, I know. And because Fromville is like it's not even a year since the Matthew family's been there. You know what I mean? We did 3 seasons, but it's not been a year since the Matthews family's been there, and he's shot up like a couple inches since the first season. So
his face is changing. He doesn't have that little chubby face anymore.
Absolutely. And in each cycle, the entity gets kids to feed and remain active. They're not your kids anymore. Exactly. I think the original sacrifice was meant to be 8 kids, as we've seen in the drawings, but OG Tabitha saved one of them, and that's what started the curse. You see, I agree with you.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, right. We always said that there was supposed to be one sacrifice, an extra sacrifice that didn't go through. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking maybe that one kid that didn't go through was the actual kid that the demon was supposed to possess, right? And that demon would have possessed the kid and granted everybody, including the man in yellow, eternal life. But instead, he got away, and he had to possess the man in yellow and then curse everybody else in the town until he gets what he wants.
I was noticing I can't find out how old Simon Webster is, because they don't want to let us know, because then you start realizing how old he might end up being.
Absolutely. Said they figured out a good workaround with the boy in white growth spurt, since we've seen different aged versions of him. Yeah, see, the boy in white is easy to take care of, right? You could just say, the town is changing, like he said, so the boy in white is changing as well. But Ethan is going to be another problem. Ethan is going to be
he's a main character.
Unless you do what Brian said, he gets to a faraway tree, and then when he gets back into the town, it's like it's been years, and he comes back as an older child. So you could do something like that. I agree with that. I don't believe Jade is there to save them like Tabitha. Jade turns mad every cycle, like we've seen with OG Jade, the one-eyed dude drinking blood, Christopher, etc. I agree with you. I think Brian 100%. Brought that up. Yeah, 100%. He said last week, he said, I don't think Jade's going to be the good guy that you guys think he's going to be. You know what I mean? Which would make sense, because
I'm going on Julie's next stream and telling her, letting you know, this is what's going on.
Facts. That's why Jade was literally in the place that the ritual happened with the kids. When he entered the tunnels and saw the symbol, OG Jade was there, maybe 100%. And it could be a possibility as to why the OG Jade and OG Tabitha probably had like a fight, and that's why they keep having that issue every reincarnation. You know what I mean?
I mean, you saw Miranda keep her kids away from Christopher.
Yeah.
There was something with him that she didn't trust.
They might have to off Ethan. Yeah, I that's what I'm thinking too. But at the same time, if they do, I don't know. It kind of. But again, if he gets too big, then you can't really say that they need a kid, because he's not a kid anymore. So I'd be okay if they recasted a kid. You know what I mean? But I can understand
I
why
think
they
that
might not want to do that.
you said, never mind. I'm not even gonna go there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You want to recast the character?
I don't have an issue with recasting characters, bro. I really don't. Yeah, Miranda literally had to hide them. I think Boy and White told and manipulated Christopher to get Miranda to sacrifice her kids. That's interesting, right?
I think so too. I really think so.
One thing I do say is everything in this town is not what it seems. And even E-Man, they asked the question, why is it called From? And they would not explain why they chose the name From. I don't think we'll ever get an answer to that, but
I think we'll know at the end.
Right. Like I don't think we'll get a definitive answer, but we're gonna get something to where it's like speculation to be like, oh, that's why they called it From. You know,
I think someone's gonna say, where the hell did that come?
From.
Like you'll see Ethan walking through the cellar, popping out of the cellar. He said 12 or 13, right? Right now the kid that plays Ethan is 11. So like I'm just saying, he pops through the cellar, and then someone's gonna drive. Where the hell did that kid come from? And it ended the episode. Series over. Right?
See, I got from one life to a next. You know what I mean? Like one reincarnation to a next, or something like that. It's very interesting. I'm with you though. I hope we definitely get an answer for that. Yeah, Miranda literally had and I read that one already. My bad. We have Julie's story walk into the future, part of the story where Ethan is naturally older. Yeah. I believe that. I believe that Julie is going to visit future events. She's going to visit past events. I think she may get stuck in a past event, right? I really think
she's the one who gives the Cooey kid and Cooey kids hope.
Yeah, I like that theory. I also liked your theory that she was the one that called home and had Thomas.
Ooh,
you know that?
Yeah.
I remember you said that.
Had to, yeah.
I like that one. He might have caught Eloise since she left the cellar and Victor found pieces of her body. Maybe Christopher sacrificed her in some weird ritual, cutting her body. Yeah, I don't, but that's the thing, Kwamanako. And I don't know if you came in earlier, but I don't think she's dead. I think she's probably was a story walker just like Julie. And I think she may have gotten caught or trapped in time somewhere. You know what I mean? Or, maybe that's why she keeps coming back to that little cabin, right? Because she don't trust nobody. She's seen future events. She's seen past events.
Go check. She's not there because she's trying to figure out a way to get past this stuff. And she's the one that created those statues.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree with that. Nikisha, we don't know if they can story walk to the future, only past, like Ethan said. No, I get you, but I'm with Nikisha. I do think that they possibly can see the future. I really do think that they can travel to the future. I could be wrong,
it's something we're going to see, but I think it's possible too.
The answers to the name From may give too much away, so it will be towards the end, like you guys said. Yeah, 100%. The show's name in my language is translated Origin. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, origin makes sense. From where you come from. Where's your origin?
Yeah. Bigger Ford. So who's those body pieces belong to? We haven't seen any other kids in the town.
He said, I picked up pieces of her. I picked up pieces of her. But in his mind, you don't know what he doesn't remember it. So you don't know what his pieces of her are. Is it her dress?
Right.
Is it her scrunchie? Is it her shoe? Do we see someone that Henry ended up digging it up and seeing that, oh, wait a minute, these aren't body pieces?
Agreed. Is it in this episode? Right here. Here. So he said all he found was pieces. Doesn't necessarily mean he found body parts.
And remember his mind, how his mind works. I think so.
Yeah.
The first thing. And then he says, I felt with pieces. Not pieces of her, all I found were pieces. So if he
Yeah.
remembers what she wore, you start seeing her shoe, or
Mhm.
hey, that's the dress she wore, or that's
Mhm.
the thing that was in her hair, or that's her bracelet. I think that girl's alive. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, me too. 100%. By having Julie not able to change things is a smart plot by the writers because time travel is complicated, and that could that keep it
Caveat. Yeah,
caveat could keep it still a little grounded. No, I agree with
Yeah.
you 100% because if you go back and you're able to change things, then it's like I have an issue with like so. Just a real quick thing in Star Wars, they have the the thing between times, and I can't
Yeah,
stand that because you
the
can
world
now
between
go back
worlds. Yeah,
world between worlds. Yeah, you can now go back and change things that happened and kind of mess up everything. So I agree with you. I'm really glad that they don't actually do that. You know what I mean? So I agree. Well, anything is possible. Absolutely. I think he meant body pieces. If he buried her, I think it was a little girl's body pieces. Could be, but
it
like he
could be, but
said
it's
that,
just that he doesn't know. He doesn't remember. He
yeah,
doesn't think so. It's pieces of her for a little boy. Pieces of her. What does that mean?
absolutely.
And who
100%.
told him that it was her?
And I
I
agree
want.
with you, Carmen.
There's no one else there. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, wait, how did this happen?
And that's the thing. He said he thinks so, right? He says he buried his mom. He saw his mom. We know for a fact, even we seen it, but even before we seen it, we knew for a fact that his mom was dead, right? We've never got that definitive answer to say that, oh, you know what? Eloise is really dead. And I think they put that I think so in there for a reason. Not just because, oh yeah, she's dead, but he doesn't know for sure. No, it's because she's still alive.
Just like Jasper. Jasper told him. I think Jasper's the one that told him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was talking to Crystal, and he said, "Oh, wait a minute, I got it wrong."
Absolutely.
If you
100%.
if you're depending on his memory, then we're just in trouble, guys.
100%. By the way, how did a 10-year-old manage to get his mother and sister's body buried? Story, Walker, Julie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he might be right.
To the fact where he's forgotten a lot of things that have happened, which kind of makes sense that maybe Julie helped him survive all those years.
It's possible because remember when he first met her, he was talking to her. The way and they said, why are you being so creepy? Why are you coming in?
Yeah.
Because he saw her and something about her reminded him of something.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree. Pieces buried next to his mother. I guess he means body pieces, but I'll check Scott's interview. Oh yeah, definitely check it out. Let us know.
Yeah, I
But
don't think there was anything in there, but
like I said, I know it sounds like body pieces, but it could be body pieces, but they could be adult body pieces who he just thought was Eloise, right? Maybe Eloise left things around there so that people would think she is dead and not
how
go looking
would a
for her.
boy be able to determine that's his sister's arm?
Right.
That's his sister's leg. But he will remember what she wore.
Mm-hmm.
He will know that's the only shoe that she had.
Absolutely. I think that girl is still alive. I agree. Pieces buried next. Okay, I read that one. I think it's the moment the father knows his son is a monster. You know what? That's interesting, but
the way
I
he
don't
said,
think
"I love you," in that tender moment, and he said, "I'm here to protect you from now on." That tender moment, I don't think he can kind of say that.
which kind of like, do we really think Victor is a monster, or is Victor being manipulated?
If Victor is a monster, he doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
So how much of a monster can you be if you cause all this stuff if you don't remember it?
Facts. Will be wild twist if Victor has his memory repressed by if the boy in white had to kill his own sister. Interesting. Just another reason why stop it. we're not even doing that. We are not even doing that. Star Wars is 10 times better than Star Trek. Like it's not even a question.
It's okay to have good opinions. I mean, even if Anzo's wrong.
You see,
Ten
that's why I
times,
didn't want to bring
10
it up,
times.
because I know where Brian stands on that situation too, and
Don't make
this
me
is
go get my
why.
stuff.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
My
Brian,
Joy LaForge badge.
yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about, bro. Like, anyway, he has no idea what he's talking about. He likes the Batman and that crap, so his taste is suspect. I love your hope to get. I love your hope to get alive, Eloise. My hope dies this season, but we'll see. So you don't think she's alive? Okay, I get it. I think, and that's what I say in my video too. I think they do that for a reason. They don't want us to know if she's alive or not, right? She may actually be dead, but what they want us to do is they want us to believe that she's still alive, or they want us to believe that she's dead. It's something they want us to talk about, theory about. So that's definitely interesting. Um, First of all, he didn't even remember he had a sister until the pics in the trunk was revealed. So up to that point, he didn't even remember burying her. Exactly. Victor made a drawing of Julie that was weird. Victor, pictures are to remember, but he also said drawings are for people that are gone dead when Ethan offered him his drawing.
Yes, he did.
Victor is sus. Donna is sus. I agree. I don't know about Donna so much no more.
Something about the
But
Victor is sus though. You
yeah,
know
yeah.
something doesn't make sense. How did the
Yeah.
little boy bury his mom? How did the little boy carry on top of a mountain?
And survive all those years. Yeah.
And survive years by himself. And then with monsters outside. There's so many questions. It just don't make sense. And no one's asking the questions of Victor.
Yeah, I agree. And then when they do ask him, he doesn't want to remember. You know what I mean? It only took him that last time with Tabitha where he actually remembered information, because it was something he was remembering wrong for a long time. He thought it was Jasper. So I think they do that too, as well, to let us know that Victor he doesn't remember everything the way it's supposed to be. And then you get the I think so and stuff like that. So I think they're putting that in there as a reason as to why, Victor, we have to take what Victor says with a grain of salt. Said Chris, why is Victor sus? I was thinking that was Eloise outside the huts they were found, where they found the food. Me too. That's what I think it is, right? And it makes sense because when
the
you
story
see,
jumped right there to help them to this point,
yes,
because they knew she needed to help them, and she helped and she left.
yes, 100%. And you also have those, statues with the heads that look like they're keeping something bad out. And I think those are, represent the talismans, which were actually keeping them out of that part of the area, which means if they can replicate it, they may be able to figure out a way to keep them out of certain parts of the town. So that would be
Exactly.
interesting. Or maybe they have to escape there, like everybody in the town has to get to that spot so that they can keep everybody out, including the man in yellow, right? Because we don't know what limitations the man in yellow has yet. Go
Or
ahead,
the
Brian.
town dies if no one's living there.
That could be a possibility as well, too. 100%. Because like you said, there's always someone there, right? So in every loop, I believe there's a kid there. Yeah, I believe there's a kid there that survives in every loop. You know what I mean? Victor was the one, and then if it loops again, it will be Ethan. So Eloise was like 30 meters away from Victor for 40 years and never came back to town.
No,
See,
she's a story walker, so she could be anywhere in the timeline.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because she knows something about Victor that we don't know yet. Maybe she's scared of Victor, right?
If she saw something that we don't know.
Absolutely. Damn it, I was gonna clip you saying it and holding it over your head forever. Yeah, well, we ain't doing that. I will never say that. I thought Eloise was alive, but after season 3, I think Christopher got her when she left that cellar. That could be a possibility, guys, 100%, right? Because again, Miranda was trying to keep the kids away from Christopher. So that could be a possibility. And we don't even know what actually happened to Christopher yet, right? So we got what happened to Miranda. We don't know what happened to Christopher yet. So I agree with that. Victor is blocking he out for some reason, blocking
Yeah,
her
Victor
out
did
for
that.
some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah, absolutely. So not only is he blocking her out, which possibly means that maybe she's scared of Victor for something Victor did. If you keep coming down here, we're gonna have to keep you. Yeah, exactly, Kramanako. 100%. Remember, Vector said his sister was good at hide and seek. That is why I think she's a story walker. That's why she was so good at hiding and seeking, because she was able to.
When she was hiding, she was actually story walking before.
Yeah.
Then she would come back. She'll paint what she saw.
Yeah.
To try to help her figure out what's going on.
That makes 100%.
And then she ran after Miranda because she's like, Mom, don't wait. Because it was very similar to what? Julie.
Yes.
And Jim.
Yes.
Dad, you need to leave. Let me save you. And we saw she already saw this. She told Miranda, don't do this. Go.
Which makes sense because Julie now is trying to save Jim. Maybe Eloise has been trying to save Miranda all that time. And they're going to come up, Julie and Eloise are going to come up to each other, and she's going to tell Julie that there's nothing you can do to change it. You know what I mean? What you have to do is, because again, that the end of the beginning of the end and all that stuff, it definitely means something. So I believe she may have to tell Julie that she's going to have to go maybe sometime into the future or something to find out real answers of how to stop this guy.
It could also be just little things like you just have to do what you're going to do, because when you make a move, since you can't change it, it's what actually happened.
Absolutely.
It validates whatever move you make. So just make a move, and you're not changing anything. We'll just find out it always happened that way already.
It always happened that way, yeah. And I think that with the rope and Boyd was what it showed us, right? That yes, she did come and she did give him the rope, but no matter what, she didn't change nothing. It was always meant to happen that way because we seen Boyd get out of it. So that makes a 100% sense. I think once Victor tells us the full story about Eloise, the writers will kill him. Original plan was for him to die after season 1. I said that already. Yeah, I did. I said once we find out everything we need to know about Victor, I think he may die. He may die. Eloise can be a story walker, but where's her physical body? See, I think there may be a way to do it with your physical body. I don't know.
We're going to find that out when Julie goes back, because she was able to touch her father, right? If she's a story walker, she was able to touch him and he got pushed by him and be able to be harmed. That's a body, right? So we're going to find out that you can do it. You just have to focus on certain things, and then all of a sudden you pop up. And then once you see that, then you're think, oh shoot, Eloise could be gone. She could be in the same place.
Yeah, 100%. Because like you said, even though she did it the first time, her body was having seizures, but she was able to touch things. She was able to give him the rope. So there's something to that. I just don't know how they're going to handle it, but I agree with Brian. I think that maybe she's going to figure out how to actually get there physically and not do the seizures. Victor did say Eloise was better at hiding than him. Yeah, all hints. I think next season, Marielle's dream will come to life. Smiley's going to attack them at the clinic. Christy, watch out. I think something's going to happen at that clinic, 100%. I think Julie gets lost in story walking with nobody to wake her physical body. Like she told Tabitha that she was afraid of that happening, foreshadowed Julie's destiny. I agree with you 100%.
Ramanako, that is a good one. I like that.
No, I agree with you 100%. But we also have to
same thing that happened to Eloise.
Yeah. And we also have to remember that when she came to save Jim, I guess they tried to make her look older because her hair was different and all that. So I think they tried to make her look older. So I actually think that she's doing it for a long time. You know what I mean? So I really think that that's interesting. Nikisha said, Eloise trying to save Miranda is a great idea. No, I agree with you. I think that's what happened because Eloise was the first one to run out of the tunnel, right? Mom, I gotta find Mom. So I think that maybe she already
stayed
knew.
behind, and Victor's assuming this is what happened, but that's not what actually happened.
Yes, And she already knew by this point that she could slip through time, right? She was already knew at this time. She was she may be not known how to deal with
Control it.
it or control it or deal with it or what to even make of it, right? But I think at this point, she's going to try and save her mom in that kind of situation. I think traveling through time physically is through the faraway trees. Like we saw Boyd, he had the 1864 note inside his pocket when he entered and he came out of Martin's dungeon. I agree.
He
Possible.
also had, Julie also heard Tabitha, and she was going to go through the tunnels. So I'm just saying, it might be a way possible for all this to work out, and we're going to find that early in season 4, as soon as we get back to Julie. I think that story is going to be a huge one going forward for all the answers.
I agree. As long as I get my montage of Julie trying and failing to save Jim over and over again, I think you will. No, I think I think we're gonna get, maybe not actually saving Jim, but we're gonna get her trying to get to that point, right? Because again, there's that creature that calls her name, says, Julie, you don't remember me. I think they're gonna bring us back to that. You know what I mean? And I think there's gonna be a lot of things and see where we're gonna see she keeps going back and she keeps trying and she keeps trying, maybe with Ethan's help or something like that. So that's definitely I think gonna happen. And Martin was stuck in 1864. Exactly. Brian, I like that. Eloise got lost in time because no one could find her physically body to wake her up. Yeah, makes sense.
She hid herself. She said, "I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna save my mother," and because she can't control it, and she's going through all these times, no one woke her up, so she's still dream walking all this time. It's from, so like you can still live.
Absolutely. Remember, guys, where you heard it first, right? If this shit comes true, remember where you heard it first. You heard it from Big Afford Entertainment's channel with Brian the Grizzly, and we're coming up cooking tonight. So Eloise did what Julie did with Jim right before he died. That's interesting.
Yes,
that's a theory that I have. Yeah, 100%.
She was trying to save her. She saw it. She foresaw this coming, right? Because a lot of things she was doing, she was painting things she already saw. And yeah, because it's no time is not linear. You don't know what it's not really future. It's not even going to the future. It's something that's already happened. We just don't have a linear shot to it. So that's why you could go into the future, because technically the future is not the future. It's just something that's happening on this timeline, and you could visit anything on this timeline.
Right. Because if you really think about it, right, Julie looked like she went back in time, right? Obviously, her father had already died, right, when she came back, because she was trying to come back to the past, which means that there is a future that she could possibly travel to. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Because that's a future Julie that came back. So it's obviously that, maybe there is a way to get to the future. Carmenako said, question to the panel. Do you think Miranda literally went to From, like she found a way to get there? She thought she knew how to save the people and went there with her kids.
I think she fell into From just like anything else.
Yeah. Because if we think about it with the reincarnation stuff, and Jade actually said that, you were always meant to be here. No matter what you did, you were always going to end up here. So I think that's exactly what happens each reincarnation, is that no matter what you do, you end up in Fromville. You could be going to the store to get groceries and come across the tree, because we can see that with the ambulance trying to get to the hospital.
Costa's like, we're only a mile away. How are we in the middle of this?
How we get here? Exactly. Every hero has a training montage. Yeah, I agree with you. That's something intriguing with the way that the man in yellow just pushed Julie out the way and didn't just kill her right there. Exactly.
Maybe can't.
Yeah. 100%. Because he went straight after Jim. You know what I mean? And I think that's definitely something that's important, right? That she went after Jim. That's interesting. And Julie felt like she knew the man in yellow. I think they were going to see her meeting him before that moment of Jim's death. 100%.
And him telling her, and she like pushes him out the way and tries to jump in there. try to jump into that timeline and unable to change it.
Absolutely. Time travel like on Scrooge. It
Like
could
going
be
to
a
the future possible futures. Yeah, like that third ghost.
Yeah. It could all be simulation like season 1 of Westworld. I can see that yet. I hope it's not. I don't want it to be a simulation, Carmen.
I don't think so.
You know what I mean? It can be something related to aliens due to the drawing of the town and some type of comment that's on Victor's drawing.
That's something that they did not debunk, and I thought that they would. I thought they would say it's not aliens, and they just kind of laughed it off. But they didn't say it's not aliens. So I don't know.
Victor is Man in Yellow Fromville is his home. He told us first. Interesting. You think Victor is the Man in Yellow?
I mean, that's like 5 years later because they're only like 5 years apart.
Yeah, right. Do you think someone's going to get out after Tabitha, or nobody gets out now? I think the next outing is everybody. If they end it with everybody getting out, it's everybody getting out. I think them just showing us that Tabitha could get out was one, of course, to bring Henry in there and Acosta and all that stuff, but it's also to let people know that, hey, we can get out, you know? Maybe the Man in Yellow can't kill the version of Julie because he knew that wasn't her physical body having seizure. That's why he just pushed her off. Possibly.
That's
very possibly.
Explanation. I like that.
100%. Now I want to go back to something real quick because I know hold on, in season 1, and I know a lot of people talked about this. Where is it? Okay, so it's after here, right here. Right here. So we get Jade going into this. Kind of tried to catch it on the guy in the rock there. All right. So we've seen, or we heard theories that people are saying that Jade is seeing, previous versions of himself. Then how the fuck did this happen? What did he do to get caught up in this situation? And I think we kind of got a hint. If that's the case, I think he went through the faraway tree and wasn't supposed to. Right?
Yeah.
Because I know they said that the boy in white was trying to get Christopher to go to the faraway tree, right? So it kind of makes you think that, okay, so Jade could go through the faraway tree, but if the boy in white is manipulating things like we think he is, then maybe Jade is not supposed to be the one to go through the faraway tree. And this was the only version of him that tried and ended up.
And then he ended up dying.
Yes. Yes. What do you think?
I think that's possible. I mean, I think all the things that he is seeing are versions of himself dying, all the different ways he died. And I think he's going to figure that out. I just don't think Jade is the hero of our story. I think that's the key. He's just not the hero. At the end of the day, he's the villain.
I agree. I agree. I think he's gonna cause more damage than good. 100%. Do y'all think Jade and Tabitha will keep their newfound history to themselves? I think so. After, so you don't think they're gonna tell anybody? You know what? They don't talk in the town anyways. Who the fuck are they?
No, but I mean, Jim dying is going to crush Tabitha, and the only way
I hope so.
I hope so too. Because if not, Tabitha's gonna be my new most hated person.
Because there's nowhere in this show that I felt like Tabitha was ever still in love with Jim. Just if you
Jim was definitely in love with her. Definitely.
Yes, Jim was. But when you go back and look at their interactions, it seemed like Tabitha had no love for Jim whatsoever. You know what I mean?
She blamed him.
Yeah, she did. 100%.
You should have figured it out. I know it was both of us, but you should have figured it out.
Yep. The writers tried so hard to run away from simulation questions during the interview. Did they? Huh. Which
They didn't
interview are we
answer it.
talking about? Was it the E-Man interview or another one?
I've only seen the email. Well, I've seen two.
Okay.
But it seemed like they were staying away from anything. They said what it wasn't, and then they said, well, if you think that's your theory, okay. And they didn't answer a lot of different things.
Because I know they asked him what theories he had, and he didn't give any. And I was like, bro, I would have been something like, I have this, I have this, I have this. You know what I mean? I know they wouldn't confirm anything, but I think if someone were to, like, let's say we got him on an interview, right? And yes, 100%. And let's say we kind of got something that they were thinking. They may not confirm it, but I think their facial expressions would give it away. I think we would be like, oh, we're onto something, right? Because they kind of, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And I also think go ahead.
That sounds good. And that maybe it's possible that we don't know where we're going to go with it, but maybe that might be something that, stay tuned.
Absolutely.
If you say that tells me I'm right.
Yeah. And that's why I also think that I know even when they talked about the picture with Smiley and the thing on the wall, and they said stay tuned. For me, it's like, okay, so that's not Smiley.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's Smiley. Yeah, there's more to it than that just being Smiley. I really do. Because we've seen it already. So they didn't have no problems confirming stuff that we've seen already. So if we see that and it's like, oh, people said that this was, that's what we were trying to do with that. You're right. That wasn't. But no, they said stay tuned. So that shows me that that's something else. 100%. I really believe it's something else. Camden felt like a buffer town with agents all around just in case you got out, that they have time to get you back. I know. And I know there was something suspect about the priest too, right? I believe the priest knew she had kids or something like that without her even telling. So definitely suspect over there.
What if they know about From, and that's why they're doing those things and saying those things? But if that was the case, then how did Henry live there?
Not know, or
and have no clue about anything.
Yeah, Costa too. You know what I mean? So Camden felt like another level in the simulation. Indeed, I feel you. The town wants Ethan. I agree. The town wants Ethan, right? Victor was on Ethan, so as he got to the town, Victor has motivation to get rid of Jim, right? Especially because he needs Ethan, and Jim wasn't having that. That makes sense.
He was protecting him too much. And
yes.
Maybe.
The town, to me, and I've said this, the town definitely wants Ethan, right? Now, if it's to make Ethan the 8th sacrifice, that's the question. Or is it because, like I said, I think this entity wants to be possessing a little boy, right? Because if you're an entity and you're possessing an old man, how long before this old man body dies? You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't have the same reincarnation capabilities as the creatures, right? So maybe when that body dies, the entity dies. So he needs to, get another little boy, and maybe they do the ritual again when he gets older. I don't know, but it's definitely something I'm interested in. I would laugh hard if it's a simulation at the end, because a lot of people would hate that. Yeah, you're right.
Will burn it down.
So here's the thing. When I think about it now, I'm like, yeah, that sounds stupid. But if they do it in a way that makes sense, I could be down for it, right? It just has to make sense. You know what I mean? It's okay. I get it.
People are going to hate if all this was for nothing. Everyone's actually alive and there's no risk. There's no loss. Everyone would be pissed off.
I agree. They would. But I think for me, I think it would, if it's done in a certain way, I could get that. Do we assume that guy in the cellar that Jade saw ended up there by traveling through a faraway tree, right? Like Julie, she ended up there. That's just my thought. I don't know if that's true or not, right?
It makes sense though. I mean, you have a lot of basis for having that same thought.
Because how would you just get crushed by a rock like that? You know what
I
mean?
Put in the closet.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I guess something. Pay attention to his eyes. All right, let's pay attention to his eyes. Let's see what we're doing. Try to open it up a bit. The eyes bleeding. Is that what you want us to look at?
They're
'Cause,
white. They're all white, like when she's
uh,
daywalking.
his eyes are white, like when Julie
Store
was.
walking.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. What do you think would happen if they decapitate a monster?
They
I don't
die
know.
and then
I,
be reborn.
I don't know. I don't know. Would they be able to? I mean,
Or would they
he
just
did,
go in a monster form?
or put their head back on.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question because we saw Boyd cut the throat. Nothing happened. He's like, I like this game, Smiley said. You know what I mean? Then he put the worms in him. But yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, Brian, Jade is not the hero. I agree. Sorry, didn't think they would tell after they found out about Jim. You don't think they would tell. I got you. If they decapitated a creature, another wild pregnancy would happen then.
Yeah, exactly what I think. Exactly.
The producers debunked the simulation theory. They don't want us wasting time down that rabbit hole. I hope they did. I
I
hope they
can't
did.
remember. I have to read it, watch it again, but I think that you're right.
I think it's okay to go back and watch these interviews now that the season is over, right? I know during the season it was hard to because some of them spoiled it, but I think it's good to now we can really go back and man, MGM, give me an interview with one of these guys, please. Give us one. Let us sing. I don't know. E-Man it was fine.
E-Man wants to do it. He's doing it in a way that he can continue to get talking
Yes.
to. So that's why he's doing it. You know. So I mean, I respect it. I thought it was really smart to do it that way. But me,
You didn't get into any meat and potatoes of it, though. You know what I mean? Like, I would tell them, like, listen, I know you can't tell us this information. You know what I mean?
I
But
want to
these are
ask
what
this
we think.
question. Just don't
Yeah,
answer. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I think he didn't get into the meat and potatoes of it. It's definitely so kind of extraterrestrial entity in play. Kid Tabby looking up at her dreams. The red looking thing people think is Smiley. I don't. I got you.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people. I think we were just saying that red thing at what the producer said. It's not Smiley. It's something else.
It's definitely so. You know what? It could be an alien. Now that you say that, it could be some kind of alien. Maybe there is some alien stuff in this as well, right?
I don't think it's alien, but I do believe like the angel thing that they keep on having, even with Elgin and all that stuff. I think that it's not far from what's actually going to happen. We're going to find out something about like angels and stuff like that too.
Angels and demons, yeah, yeah.
Because you
I
see,
agree.
the man in yellow is a demon, and then it might have an angel.
Absolutely. Or is it a combo of simulation and physical reality, like a reverse relationship of simulation creating physical reality in From? Interesting. The writers told Smiley's rebirth with Fatima's pregnancy was an happy accident. Tabitha was only to get to the real world in the pre-ultimate season. Yeah. And Victor was supposed to die after season 1. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Yeah. And that's why I said, like, yeah, we're going on here and we're trying to find clues and answers. But if they're doing it the way they're doing it, then we're not going to find anything. Like, we're not going to figure anything out because they literally said that they didn't know. They knew they had to bring Smiley back. They didn't know how.
They also plan, as you said, they plan for Tabitha to get out the penultimate season 4, but it worked out in the storyline. So they're like, okay, we're gonna let it happen.
Yes. So
they don't
plan
know
change a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so we sitting here. So I think it's just fun to get our theories out here and go back and see if we can find anything. But at the end of the day, no matter what we say, they'll be watching this. Oh, because this is what they think. Okay, so we're not going to do that one. Yeah, we're not going to do that one. We're going to switch it up. You know what I mean? Because I believe that they probably had a real like, how the hell are we going to bring Smiley back? Like, we know there's reincarnation. We know it's this and that, but how are we going to bring them back? And they never had Fatima's pregnancy as the way to bring him back until they realized, oh, you know what? We could do it with the pregnancy, you know?
Let's try this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it shows me that they may have been planning on going to a whole different direction with her pregnancy. And then
Or they
said,
weren't
you
going to
know,
use the pregnancy, and they thought, this is what we should do. Because
yeah,
if they're Adam and Eve, and they had Cain and Abel,
yes,
maybe we should do this.
yes, 100%. 100%. Is it important that we now know there's one person in the real world that knows about From? Tabitha told that priest about the town. That's
The
a good
priest is going to
point.
be the first one that's going to happen. That's going to come to the town next season, because we lost the
Absolutely.
priest here. They got to replace that priest. So
Oh, yeah.
that priest is going to be From next season.
Huh. That's interesting. Good point. They probably missed the chance with Victor, and now it's Ethan's turn. Exactly. And I believe that they missed the chance. You see, that's why I have this issue with the boy in white. I think the boy in white kind of helped. Well, now that I say that, I said the boy in white, but now I'm thinking Julie, right? All this stuff that we question, how did this happen? How did this happen? It could be Julie.
What if he thought it was the boy in white, and it was actually Julie because he couldn't remember?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. All of it could be Julie. Julie could have been the one that told the kids the story, right? Like you said, the Cooey kids the story. While Tabitha and Jade were off running off trying to stop what was going on, it could have been Julie that got there and told them the kids, because Julie did get to a point where she heard them screaming, and then she ended up going after her mom, right? So she didn't follow the no. Maybe she goes back and she follows the sound, and she's the one that told them the story.
Takes them back in time, and then you see these kids, and you remember hearing that, and then because you heard that, she tells them the story and gives them the hope.
Yeah, I agree. I think Toby died by entity mistake. They wanted to kill the chosen one that was on the car, and they thought it was Jade, and that's why they told Sarah to kill him, but ended up being Toby. Ooh.
I think that too.
Ooh, that's nice. They thought Toby was the reincarnation, and they had Julie. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's impossible. Miranda would be alive and Henry would know. What's impossible? I'm sorry, because I got behind, so I'm not sure what that was. I've been saying I would have been giving them the Highlanders treatment. Facts. In the intro, there's a drawing of someone buried alive. I think that's how you get rid of the creatures. But didn't Smiley get burned after they killed him? They burned his body. They cremated his body. Yeah, they cremated his body.
And that way he couldn't just come back to life. And that's probably all that does is trigger, the impulse for them to actually, can be reborn again. That's all it does.
Because we don't know what would happen if you actually tried to burn them while they were alive, which is why Kenny's plan would have been perfect if Boyd had let him go through with it. You know what I mean?
What if they did that? What if they did it at the same time as they jump through the window, and then there's no one to reincarnate because everyone's gone?
Yeah, they need to burn down that town completely. Burn it down, Panel, if you could interview any character you want, who would it be?
Boyd, 1,000%.
100%.
Like I would take that in Harold in a second.
Me too. Me too. I definitely would love to get Boyd. I would love to get. Listen, I love them all. I would anyone, Boyd, Donna, Jade, Jim. You know what I mean? But
that would be fun.
Yeah, but I definitely wanted. I want to talk to Boyd. Not just because of this show, but I like this actor. I like Harold, right? So I want to talk to him about other things that he did as well, not just this show, but he's done a lot of good stuff, man. I think he's a really great actor. 3 Red Rocks, come on. Yeah. And we still haven't got a full explanation of those rocks either. So that's definitely.
Or what young Tabitha was screaming at.
Right. Or if that was even a young Tabitha, or was she having a vision of it someone else and thinks it's her? You know what I mean? because I remember, I think they were talking about it on, I think it was on Julie's stream, where they said how the credits don't show it as a young Tabitha, it just says young little girl. So they did that on purpose. The genre of the show is Mystery Survival Odyssey. Someone posted that on Julie's Discord. If you want to check it out, what the F genre is that? Mysterious Survival. That's a good point. I never heard of that one before. The faceless girl reacted to E-Man's interview. She made a lot of good points. Did she? I seen a couple of her videos, and I think she's good. I know she didn't like the reincarnation stuff. Like that really try to. I think y'all could get an interview if you tried. Slide in those DMs. I've been. Trust me. I've been. I didn't like the faceless girl's video. Felt a lot of negativity. I don't know. People been a lot negative about the season. I don't know why. I like it a lot. It gave more answers than season 2. Me better than season 2. You see, I was right there with you. I thought she had a couple good videos, but I know when they got to the reincarnation stuff, there was a lot of negativity about the show, and I just try to pass on that because I personally don't understand the negativity of it. I think it's great. So
I don't like negativity. I honestly, I think that you shouldn't be negative about a show that if you're really enjoying it, just go for the ride. You don't know everything. Exactly. Now, at the end, if you want to, say I don't like this, I don't like that, then that's fine. But just go on the ride for now.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm enjoying the ride. You know what I mean? That's what it's about for me. I'm enjoying the ride. I got my co-host from the OSC to watch the show, and he's loving it. Like I think he should be done season 3 by now. And he's like, yo, the show is fire. So I like that. You know what I mean? I like when I could tell somebody to watch a show and they call me back and, bro, thank you for putting me on the show, because Per put me onto it. So I appreciate that. Also, apparently, Bender confirmed that there was a sacrifice in the previous cycle, Miranda's timeline. That's why I believe really Christopher got Eloise. So there was a sacrifice. Interesting.
Because the sacrifice could have been anyone, right?
Yeah.
It could have been Miranda. When somebody get in there and someone set her up. I told her to go this way and set her up, and then all of a sudden, Smiley got her. That could have been a sacrifice.
Absolutely. I understand, Fletcher, but I like listening to people who disagree with me. It's thought-provoking. I do too, but I just like when it gets too negative for me, because when she was like, oh, the reincarnation stuff was stupid, I was just like, no, I don't think it's stupid. I think it could be done well if you do it right, at least give it a chance, So that's the only issue that I had. But she does put out some good content.
All good theories deserve disrespect. That's all I think. I think if you came up with something and it made sense, respect it. I won't respect anything that you guys say.
Facts.
I won't. Yeah, I just think that you should do the same thing for everybody else. I'm a big person just believes respecting everyone.
Absolutely. Same here. Me too. Facts. They already admitted they are changing things as they go. So they'd be listening to these lies, even if it's not a big channel. Yes, because they don't want to be out there and listening to, and they're like, these motherfuckers got it right. Okay, so we got to switch that. You know what I mean? Wow, these guys actually figured it out. So they're going to make changes. And to me, I know if I was one of the showrunners, I'd be watching. I'd be like, I would put in from in my title search, and everything that came up, I'd be listening. Theory on this, theory on that, theory on that. I'd be listening. And then if anybody got it right, I'm like, okay, guys, we gotta switch this up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sorry, this guy got it. Yes, no, changing it again.
See, you got to be careful not to mess up the show that way too, as well, right? You may end up doing something that you may not want to do, but I definitely think that they listen and they're careful with what they do.
And they do a good job of doing a character's journey. They understand the character just kind of goes on the journey, and you go on a ride. So if the character does something and it makes sense for the character, just let it happen. Right. And naturally you'll get to where you want to get.
I agree. Yeah, I'm sad about that. Now they can change plans of the show due to someone's theories. Yeah, they could. But I think also it could help and it could hurt too as well. You know what I mean? Because if they have something planned out, mapped out, and it's like, this is what we want to do, someone figures out and then they have to change it. They may change it to something that may not be as good as what they had originally planned, or it may be better, right? A happy accident, as you want to call it. So I kind of agree with that. Watch them having Storywalker Julie ending up lost in time, getting out, calling home, and that phone call taking Thomas's life and saying it wasn't happy accident, but they took it from our theories. Hey, you gonna take my theories? Take Brian's theories? Go right
That'd
ahead.
be
Let's do
hilarious.
it. That's why they told my babe Sarah to kill the boy. If it was Ethan, they could have just said kill Ethan, which is shorter. We know they have everyone's names already, so the boy is the boy in white. I agree. 100%.
You've been saying that for a while. You've been saying that
Yes,
for a long time.
100%. I agree with you. So I think that it was something more than just Ethan. Could have been Victor too, but like you said, they know Victor's name. Victor's not a boy anymore, right? So
How
the
you gonna
only other
send Sarah to Victor?
to kill Victor.
Victor is
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Lurch. You know, he's like
Yeah.
6'4", and you know, Sarah gonna have to jump up.
And we already have, you know, shit, I lost my train of thought. But we already have the boy in white there and everything, so it makes sense that it would be him and not Victor, because Victor already has the armor where it seems like he's protected anyway. So why would you tell him to kill someone that's a protected character? You know what I mean? So yeah. I want someone to try to walk over that fallen tree, please. Have someone do it in season 4. I
Let it
agree.
be a black guy. Just like,
nope.
Nope, not doing that.
I cannot hear the name Toby without thinking about the movie Roots, shaking my head, blame my mother. It's Kunta Kente, Toby.
Toby.
What's your name, boy? Toby. After, what's your name? Toby. I hope we get some episodes showing the family missing members and searching for the people lost to From. You know what? It's funny because we got that little time where she called her mom, and there was a little
Where have
bit
you
of
been? Where have you been?
Yeah. So they should definitely show people looking for them. Isn't there a circle of rocks outside the church? Didn't Father Kotri hide his bag there? Could it be related to the red rocks? That is interesting. I don't know. We're gonna have to
never thought about that, Michael. Yeah.
And when we get to that, you should write that down so that we have that, so we remember. You know what I mean? And also write down the trees moving too. I think we need to try and figure out why the trees are moving. That's why I also think that there's a sacrifice in every cycle, maybe because the 8th kid was rescued from the original ritual, so and the entity tries to find that lost one in every cycle. Yeah, I agree with you. But so who was the kid's sacrifice in Victor's? Oh, you're saying Eloise. I got you. Was Eloise older than Victor? Was Victor older? Someone in the chat, please tell me. I don't remember. Victor's older than Eloise was?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would make sense. Or maybe the entity, or maybe the kids are fuel to the entity, and that's why the sacrifice happens. Or maybe the entity needs a boy. He didn't want to be a little girl. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be a boy. No. This ain't working. We gotta restart this over again. Women are too much problems. I do not want to.
That is not what I'm saying at all.
That's one of the reasons I gravitated to this channel. I appreciate how you treat the people in your stream. Well, I appreciate that because, like we've said many times, without the people in our streams, we'd be talking to ourselves. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
We just sitting here talking back and forth like usual.
And when I first started off, that's how I was. I was talking to myself. You know what I mean? Talking to 1 or 2 people in the chat, you know. So it's always a pleasure to have you guys come in here. Always a pleasure. You usually have more in here, I think, because it is a Friday night. That's why it's only like 13.
Also,
in here
because
right now.
I got sick and we couldn't have it on Tuesday. That was my fault, guys.
And
that was my fault.
And to be fair, next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, and the Christmas Eve and the Tuesday after that is New Year's Eve. So we ain't doing nothing on those days. That's not happening. So we're probably gonna take a 2-week break because I'm already taking a 2-week break from the OOC as well. So we'll probably be back here 2 weeks after that because I think Tuesday is a better night, to be honest with you. You know
I love
mean?
Tuesday. Tuesday was a perfect. It makes me happy to get on Tuesdays. But next Tuesday is going to be all about my kids.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's going to be pure family time. You know what I mean? So definitely going to have to do that. Imagine if they changed the end due to listening to this stream and do a Game of Thrones Aerie
Oh,
style.
all right. Oh
And
no.
instead of the chosen one, it's a random one like Sarah or Randall that break the curse. Yeah.
I mean, Sarah is a badass, so that's all right. Sarah is a badass. I'm not happy that she did it, but I kind of respect her a little bit more.
And it's funny too, Carmenako, because I think the last 2 episodes we did, like we've been cooking when we came up with our theories. Now, obviously, they may all be wrong, you know what I mean? But I think we came up with a lot of logical stuff. Like, and I still 100%. I'm like, yes, Brian, I agree with you. Julie is the one that told those kids the story. I believe that now. You know what I mean? I didn't think about that until you said it. So I absolutely believe that now. You know, I'm
I
afraid they
don't know
will.
if it
Yeah.
might be that they weren't going to plan on doing that, but hearing it, they're like, yeah, that does sound right.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? 100%. I'm afraid they will change having Ethan crawl out of that hole like Victor. I always believed that was supposed to happen. And I agree with you. If this is going to be a loop and it doesn't end happy, that's how it has to end. So, yeah, go ahead,
It's a
Brian.
good story ending. That's a
Yeah.
good way to do it. You know, that's good storytelling in itself.
Absolutely. And it's not only that, it will make sense that we're just seeing a loop, right? It's not like we're getting to end or a conclusion to the loop. We are just seeing what happens every time there's a loop. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that kind of storytelling. The monsters were down in the caves babysitting Victor. He's sus. Yes,
I'm
100%.
telling you, they could have killed him at any time. They decided not to.
Was that really Tabitha's mom? Who? Tabitha.
Oh, the one he talked to on the phone.
Oh, I got you. Interesting.
What was the town? That'd be messed up.
It could
I think
be.
she got out, but I think they said that no, she really did get out.
Yeah, I think they did say that. Most shows a week after the season ends, I'm done thinking or talking about it, but this damn show. I know, right?
Exactly.
I know. And it's like people are still doing videos and they're still getting views and everything. And I do have to apologize for my last video, guys, because I know the mic wasn't so good. But the next one I got coming up, I think is gonna be a banger. And I fixed my mic, obviously. So yeah. Tabitha seemed convinced, but it could have been the man in yellow for all we know. Exactly.
We're gonna
When
find
they're in
out.
the town.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't mean that she's not in the real world that the man in yellow said those things.
Absolutely.
Maybe he said what he needed to say to make her feel like, okay, I don't have to go home. I can continue with this journey with, you know, trying to find out this tree and Henry and all this stuff. Because if she talked to her parents and it was worse, she had to go home, she might have done that.
Facts. Said Ty is from once you get in, you can't get out.
Get out.
100%. That's what she said, though. Women
she
are
was
too
right.
much problems. Horrible. No, the ones in Fromville, like in TV land, and not real life, women. No.
I only blame Tabitha.
Ones in Fromville. Yeah, facts. Brian, glad you're feeling better, by the way. Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it. I was messaging him. I was like, if I could sit up, I'll just be there.
So, panel, what other good shows are you guys watching right now?
Well, I'm doing a review on Silo tomorrow, so we're gonna be on. I think it was episode 5 of Silo. This is season 2 of that. That just got extended to season 3 and 4. They already extended it for the next 2 seasons. So that, and then as soon as we're done with that, we're going back to season 2 of Severance. So we're going to be knocking those out on Saturdays too. So yeah, I watch everything. So I'm reviewing those, but I watch everything. It's sad because I drive around in my car a lot. I always put it on my phone and play it through the speakers and just listen to all the stuff that goes on.
Have you watched Secret Level yet?
All 8 episodes, all of them.
Man, when I first put it on, there was only 8, and then I went the other day and I was like, "Wait, where did these other episodes come from?"
Yeah.
But the Mega Man one pissed me off. The Mega Man.
You're not the only person.
It was only 6 minutes. I'm like, "What are we doing?" This was the one I really wanted to see,
Because it's a two-parter.
Ah, I got you. It better be because it said the start, so it better be. You know what I mean? But I was pissed with that. I was like, come on, man. Should we write our From series? Maybe
Our
a
own
fandom
series.
audible? Yeah, we should. We
That would be
absolutely should.
awesome. I would
Mhm.
love to do that, guys.
We should do that. We should write season 4. See how close we can
And
get
send it
to
to
it.
him.
The only thing is I don't know where they're going with the man in yellow, right? We don't know his limitations, so I don't know where they're gonna go with him. I know he can come out during the day, but do the talismans work, right? Maybe it's not the talismans anymore. Maybe it's that structure that we see it outside of the town. So there's a
Maybe
lot
he
of
can't
that,
go into the town. Maybe that's what it is.
Right, exactly. Heretic is a good movie to watch also. We will definitely check that out.
Mhm.
Um, Persons Unknown is kind of from. Is that a show?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, really? Okay. Fletcher, I'm also writing one myself, a short story. It's almost done. Very nice.
Oh, that's
Bigger
awesome. You
Forge.
got to share that, Nikisha.
Bigger Forge should do a watch along for Silo also. Well, that was his job. That's what he was doing.
I was
And I-
so we only were doing the watch alongs on the first, and we were going to do the first and last episode so we could talk about it after we saw it. So that's what we're going to continue to do. But yeah, Silo, I love doing that at 9:00 on Saturday nights. We're going to continue to talk about Silo because I just love it that much. No matter what's going on, I'm just going to continue to do that. And then, as I
Yes.
said, we're going to jump right into Severance and just have a good time with it. Because I'm just gonna pull up little screenshots and we'll talk about the things we see and see if there's anything we're missing and just does this make sense in the continuity and go from there. And I love the story. The story is so good. And the acting's
Absolutely. It's great. And I will
Tim
be there
Robbins?
because I will watch it. Now that we did this on a Friday night, I remember that drops tonight. I can watch it and join these guys. Because last 2 weeks, I was like, wait a minute. So the first week, I was waiting for the watch party. That's why I didn't watch it. I was waiting for the watch party. Watch party never fucking happened. Then I seen a thing and I was like, watch party? I'm like, listen, I'm like, wait, these guys, this ain't the watch party. Kind of reviewing it. Like, I didn't even watch it yet. And last week I forgot. Oh, I want to see that, Nikisha. We all do. Definitely.
Yeah, I want to see it.
And you definitely have a platform where you can come out and broadcast it if you want to.
And
Brian,
we'll read it and watch it.
Yeah, sub to the Spoiler Kings if you're not Chromonako. Absolutely. They can review it every week, man. Do a great show over there. So I'll definitely be joining them. Fetcher, definitely share it with y'all when it's finished. It's more comedic. Thank you. then the show, I think you will enjoy it. I think we will too as well. Every time I see a weird tree or hear a loud AZ crow, I think of From. Facts.
Dude, every time I see a tree with a bottle in it, I saw one the other day. I was like, the hell is that?
Oh, brother, I tried the plot of Severance like 5 times, but I can't. I always fall asleep. It was like with Game of Thrones, had to watch the plot like 10 times. Is Severance that good?
You got to get past episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get past episode 4, you're flying through. It is so good. You're going to fly.
Yeah,
Nzo said the same thing. I'm at episode 4, but I don't know if I can watch this thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom.
I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I like this, right? Because I came on, I was like, you know what, guys, I'm not really feeling Severance that much, And his partner Tank was like, no, stick to it. You're gonna get it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fire. Season 4 fandom made, absolutely. Severance is the best show I've seen since the first season of Mr. Robot. Never watched Mr. Robot, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, I have.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's not. See, I've always liked Lost more. I liked. So I like cartoon stuff too. So like, there's other shows that I like, but Mr. Robot is very good, and it's more of an adult feel to it too.
I don't think man. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't think Man in Yellow can expose himself to the masses by going in town. So you only can hear about him. You don't actually get to see him, which makes a lot of sense. I think that we can definitely get that. Look at you trying to breathe the wrong time.
Never
Rookie.
never take a pull away trying to talk.
That's a rookie.
You guys can clip that if you want to. So he's outside of town. Can he get into town? Maybe not. Could be.
I think he has to be the woods.
Yeah, right. Because if you let him go into town, like they can't come out during the day, they can't come out during the night. Everyone's gonna be stuck in the house. You know what I mean? So I think
I love the memes. Everyone says, everyone tells you you can't kill the monsters, but Jim with a stick, like I'm going to the beach.
Yeah, Jim should have ran. He should have. I'm getting the hell out of here. I never seen this thing before. I never seen you before. Your eyes are black. I would have bolted. There's no fighting that. Yeah, Carmelo. Yes, the Constellation was fire. Dark Matter was pretty good too.
I love Dark Matter.
I didn't see it. What's Dark Matter?
It's a TV show for
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. I got to check that out. Hectic, amazing movie. You know what? I'm going to check that out tonight as well, along with the other one. What was the one he told us about?
Kato Lake.
Kato Lake. Yeah, I got to write that down as well so that I remember. Never finished the older ones. I got you. Speak No Evil, amazing movie.
Speak No Evil, I knew what was going to happen. Conclave. Okay, here there's two stories for Conclave. Okay, I fell asleep during the first half an hour. It was that dry, that boring. I'm not Catholic, because I just like I know what a conclave is. It was just kind of going through the emotions. The next hour and a half was so superb, was so well done. I was like, no. I got up in the middle of the theater. I know what's going on in the middle of a theater, just watching the movie. I never do that, you know.
So you passed out, and then when you woke up, it got to some good shit, and I was like,
it was really good. Because once you get past like the general stuff, you start to figure out what's going on, and it was awesome.
Absolutely, Dark Matter is good. I saw Christmas blows mold in a tree and thought about the bottle tree. Yeah. Mr. Robot is so damn good. What's up, Vanessa Wicked? Thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. Is there anything else about this episode you got, Brian, before we close it out?
Yeah, we have T in it. What's up?
Hey, what up, T? What's going on, man? Long time. How you doing?
No, see, this episode I thought that it had some key things, but it's not as good as the first two. But they're little nuggets that we can start to put together. Once again, I think if we figure out all season one. What up, Terrence? Yeah, but if we figure out all season one and we can put it together, we'll know the entire story. But
I agree.
I think it really boils down to Victor and how the hell he survived that time.
I agree. And I agree. I think we're going to figure out a lot of things. We may not be right on most of them, but I think we're going to get the gist of certain things, right? Certain things we're going to figure out. Like, I believe that we'll find out that, you know, again, it was Julie that talked to the kids. I believe that she will maybe be traveling back in time more than one occasion, and she's gonna have interactions with certain people. You know what I mean? That's because we still haven't Martin, he knew who Julie was, so he's going to have an interaction with her.
So she came back. She talked to him. He might even told her how to travel. Maybe he's the one that teaches her how to do these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Promenade, did you say that Martin was a story walker possibly and got stuck?
Absolutely, he did. So I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. So I think those are certain things that we'll be right on. You know what I mean? As I heard this show got renewed for 2 more seasons. Is that true? I hope it's 2. I heard 1.
It got renewed for 1, just season 4, and then Silo got renewed for 2. So
Silo got. I know this fanboys is Leo, so if that's the case, that's good. 100%. Because this season is over, and we still. And I was like, I can't remember who said in the chat, but like they're like, I think it was Ty said once the show was over, I'm done with it. Me too, except the show. You know what I mean?
And because when we become FROMILY, this is what it is.
Yes.
We literally come and talk about this stuff and
yes,
and bounce off these ideas off each other, and we determine, oh man, that makes sense. Maybe go a little bit further, and then
Yes,
some of this stuff turns out to be right, and we're like, man,
absolutely.
I'm glad I got to talk to you guys about it.
Facts. They hit gold with this show, man. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's any show other than like Lost, maybe. But again, the internet was different when Lost came out because it was more blogs than anything. But I don't think of any other show that we talk about like we do with this show when the season's over. I don't think there's any other show. You know what I
Well,
mean?
we've left the 22 episodic shows. You know,
Mhm.
those are things that used to have The Walking Dead, The Talking Dead. You know,
Yeah.
like you used to have
Yeah.
those things. You don't have that as much anymore because they don't have those episodic seasons.
Right.
This has 10 episodes, but it's so epic, it's so impactful that we talk about it for a year later.
Facts.
You know?
And not to mention, we still have questions that we haven't answered yet, so we can go back and try and look for certain things. Like they hit gold with this show. Go type in From and see how many new videos come out every day. And this show has been off for a couple of weeks now already. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate MGM and the showrunners for what they did with this show because there's no other show that can get you to do that.
Yeah.
I would love a real world flashback from because I don't even know if it exists for sure. No, I feel you, brother. I feel you. FROMILY. Also, if you talk about a show when a season or a series is done, that's how you know it has some kinds of substance. Absolutely.
And when you do it for 4 years,
Yeah. Facts. From is definitely gold. I agree. When I see a From trailer, I just knew I was going to love it. You know what? I personally didn't know about it, and I don't know if I think Brian put you onto it too, right?
Herb did.
He kept
Herb was
posting it.
saying, hey, look, you gotta watch this. Hey, look, hey, and he put the challenge out. He said, look, watch the first 20 minutes. You don't like it, it's not for you. But if you love it, you're gonna go in for a ride. And I watched the first 20 minutes. I was like, all right, let me watch a little bit more. And then next thing you know, the sun's coming up, and I just watched all this stuff. I was like, wow, I'm caught up, or let's go.
kept posting it. Yo, you gotta watch From. You're gonna like From. You're gonna watch From. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? One of those like, I'll check it out, whatever type of thing. And luckily, I didn't wait long. I think it was maybe episode 3 that was out before I watched the first one. Like Lost, I didn't watch the whole first season of Lost. I was like, I didn't watch no watch no Gilligan's Island kind of remake show.
I watched the episode 1, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
No, I wasn't interested at all. And then one night I was at home and it was on, and it was the night where the bearded man and them first they were in the forest and they confronted Jin and all them, and they had the bombs and the dynamite set up. And I was like, this is Lost. I was like, this is what I've been missing. And I went back and I binged the whole first season before the next episode came out. I was, yeah, bro. I just watched episode after episode after episode. I came home from work and it was Lost. So yeah. So this one I didn't wait as long. But when I saw that first episode, I was like, yo, bro, thank you. This is fire. This is absolutely fire, you know. I remember the first season when it was on episode on Epics and nobody was talking about it. It was so lonely. You mean From? From was on Epics and no one talked about it?
When it first came out, yeah.
Really?
The pilot.
Because I know on LOWKEY's channel we did season 2. And I believe I did season 2 with him because he was doing season 1. But to be honest with you, he was the only one that I ever seen doing From at the time in season 1, right? There may have been other people doing it, but it wasn't feeding my timeline. E-Man was doing it too?
E-Man was doing it, yeah.
See, I didn't even know who E-Man was at the time. I only learned about E-Man with the T'Challa stuff going on, you know what I mean? Chillmonger and all that stuff. That's when I really found out about E-Man. But I didn't know about him then, right? So for me, it was like nobody was really talking about it. And I was watching LOWKEY do it. And I was like, yo, if you do a season 2, I want to come on and talk about it. So I did all of season 2 with him on his channel. But I think it like blew up season 3. I think that's when it just hit the road. You know what I mean?
It's funny. E-Man, like apparently, so my best friend told me, oh yeah, you should check out this guy E-Man. on YouTube. I was like, yeah, he went to our high school. I was like, oh, okay, I'll check all this, check it out. And I was like, oh man, this is amazing. And then he blew up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like all of a sudden, oh man.
And you know what's funny? And I want to do this because, especially when Tank, I usually do interviews with, content creators. Did one with a couple guys on the Dark Council. I want to do one with you and Tank because I need to get how you guys got on YouTube and all that stuff. So I got questions for you guys for that. So I definitely want to do that with you
interesting story.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that with you guys. So we'll have to set up a time for that. A great older show that I watch is Succession. I just finished season 3. I haven't watched it,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard it's good too. I haven't watched it though. Nzo, I tell you what, I lost some brain cells because some friends of mine kept playing the DVDs. I was like, there are other shows. Damn.
There are no other shows that lost. That's what you don't understand.
There wasn't though. At the time there wasn't. Lost was it. And I think Lost was a phenomenon. Like it really was. And it's funny because I was watching, like, now I'm doing this, and I did that video where I said the comparisons to Lost. A lot of Lost things are popping up, right? So that pilot episode, the guy that okayed it, one of the showrunners or the producer, whatever, he okayed it. He gave them so much money for the pilot episode that they fired him. And that show became the phenomenon that it was. Yes, they fired him because he gave them a budget, like an outrageous budget for the pilot. Like they bought their own plane. Like that's a real plane. They bought that plane, right? So when they gave them that budget, they're like, "Oh no, you got to go." And that show ended up making way more than they.
He was right,
that, E-Man talks like E40. E-Man's channel has changed since he became popular. Now he barely reads the chats.
But he's become a real YouTuber, and he's almost could do this as a living. So yeah, he has definitely changed. But I'm not gonna sit there and say like I wouldn't make those decisions too. For me, I don't need to. I enjoy doing this and enjoy talking to you guys and enjoying doing it this way for reasons. This is what I want to do in my off time. I choose to do it. I don't even know if I wanted to be in my job because I enjoy it so much. But would I do it? Hell yeah.
And to be fair, it is hard to deal with the chat when it is going crazy, right? Because
we get behind all the time,
bro.
When you get like 70 or 80 comments back, you're like, crap. What do I do now?
Yeah. It's hard to do. But me personally, I would try to, right? I would try to, like, even if I had to, like, let's say, like we did a 2-hour show where I had to do an hour and just read chats. I wouldn't read everybody's chat because by that point it would be crazy. But I at least try to show the chats on the screen if I can't get to it. You know what I mean? So I'm always like doing this and something like that if I can't get to the chat. Because sometimes people are talking, you don't want to interrupt them. You know what I mean? So,
but what you have to do is what I'll do is I will hire someone to be in the background, and only thing they do is every 4 or 5 seconds, click on one of the chats, and then as you going through all the stuff and you get a chance to read one, you read one, but you at least show it on the screen to acknowledge that they're there.
Absolutely.
That's 100%. The way I so have a producer doing that.
Yeah, me too. 100%. You know what I mean? At least showing that people are there in the chat and you're acknowledging them. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you may put it up there and one of your panelists who's talking may feel inclined to say something about it, and he'll finish what he's saying or cut what he's saying and then address the comment. You know what I mean? So you got to at least acknowledge the people that support you. So I agree with that.
You can't be there without
100%. I still support E-Man. I just think it's sad to neglect the people that build your channel, but all YouTubers change when they get bigger. Some of them do. And again, like I said earlier, it's not always about change. Like, it's just hard sometimes, man. Like, it's hard to like navigate the chat, ask panelists questions and stuff like that. And when the chat is going do, like I've seen channels where they have to put on slow mode, right? Because it goes by so fast. Like when it goes, you can't get to all of that. You can't. You get 5 before you even finish reading one sentence.
And he said, well, we'll only read super chats, guys. And that's what we're going to do now.
Absolutely. Hanzo, I'm glad you said that. When you acknowledge me, that means a 10 hour. Yeah, no, Terrence, not happening. But I seen you doing some stuff with a few people out there. Maybe you can get one of them to do a 10-hour stream with you. You know
Terrence
what I
is
mean?
fire, so yeah.
Yeah, you got that. Jeremy Fire and Ice been growing and he hasn't changed. That's good. You know what I mean? That's good. I probably try not to change either as well. So
Yeah, I mean, what you do is you ask for help, you bring more people on, and you try to
Yeah,
keep it the same way because that's what people came in for.
yeah, 100%. Like if you're making money off of it to where you maybe don't have to work anymore, then yeah, you can probably get a producer and get certain things and set something up. The only problem is you have to keep it going continuously because there may be you may start off and you got to be careful too because you may start off and blow up, boom, and then hit a drop. You know what I mean? Like just one day it's like, yo, no one's watching my content anymore. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful with that too as well. You know, and if you do that, you have to make sure you're saving money because it's not always going to be that way.
Exactly.
Like it's not always going to be that way. But I liked to get the brothers' POV because we see things a little bit different. Yeah, 100%, brother.
That's why I do a lot of different things with different people because I don't see. So me and Anzo do not agree on Batman at all. Batman. He does not like the Dark Knight. I think the Dark Knight is one of the best comic book movies ever made. He does not like it. I love the way the Joker is portrayed. I like all this stuff. He doesn't. He likes the original. He likes the I like the original Star Wars. He likes
no prequels. I like the prequels.
The 1, 2, and 3. Yeah,
I like the
bullshit.
prequels.
You know, but I can respect it. You know, because someone saying something doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything what they say. It's about respecting that they care about it enough to have their own opinion.
Facts. And let's be real, right? Before we close up, because I think I'm going to get a little real here. When it comes to us, brothers on YouTube, it's hard for us to catch that audience. So when we do, we're not going to sit here and shit on someone because they got that audience. You know what I mean? Because, bro, you can see these little other channels, you know, not melanated channels, I'll say it politically correctly, that just talk a lot of crap. And you go check out one of their streams, they got 600,000-700,000 people watching. You know what I mean? One of the biggest hate fucking groups on YouTube, Geeks and Gamer crap, but they're making bank, right? Why can't we be doing that? You know what I mean? So we got to support each other 100%, you know? Yeah, of course, you're not going to like everybody. I get it. You know, there's probably some black entertainers that I don't like at all. There's a few that I don't like, right? But the ones you do like and support, we got to support each other. We have to 100%. We have to support each other. So that's just my little rant on that.
And that's why I respect E-Man a lot of stuff what he does. And I love what he started with. I don't like necessarily agree with everything he's doing, but I respect that he's making it work for his family. And that just makes me feel good. And I could say I would do something different, right? But what does that have to do? He's not me. He's going to make his own decisions, and I respect that too. We should accept our differences that go along with our similarities. So, you know.
Facts.
But I'm happy that people are here because this is the way I would do it. You know, I enjoy hearing you guys and talking to you guys, and that's the engagement I like. That's the reason.
Yeah, me too. Me too, 100%. That's why I do more live streams than videos, right?
Me too.
Because I get to engage with you guys. I get to engage with people. Like doing videos for me are hard. Like I'm like, I don't like the video. Like even though I put them out there, you know what I mean? I don't like them. I don't like them. I feel more authentic when I'm just live streaming and talking to you guys and doing it like this. You know what I mean? And I even tried to do a video where I was trying to do it like I was in the live stream, but I know I'm not in a live stream. So it still kind of like doesn't work out for me like that. You know what I mean? Just feels so much better doing it like this. He said, I like you know how to get big. I'll let you know how to get bigger, I guess. But you don't want to compare your compromise your principles. So you got to stay in your groove. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And see, and this is the thing, right? Because I know the show I do, OOC, can be a little bit have people think in certain ways. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it kind of alienates a certain demographic of people sometimes. But I'm a black man and I like to talk about black issues and I like to give my perspective and what I think can help. You know what I mean? So
I did a rant. I mean, honestly, on Thursday.
I seen it.
Yeah,
The storm. The
yeah.
storm.
Well,
Yeah.
it was just about the T'Challa and the black family and what Marvel needs to do in respecting the black family and what if you gonna tell me that you have art imitating life and then don't have this imitation of life be a presence for the black family in art, so we could see it and want to aim for something better. And the fact that you didn't do that, I went on a rant, you know. And I'm never going to apologize for being black. I'm also a nerd, you know. I'm also an athlete. There's all those things. I could be all those things, but I'm not really going to apologize for any of that. So you know, I'm going to speak my mind and be myself in all aspects.
Absolutely, 100%. And I say, like, listen, you may not agree with everything I say, but that doesn't mean we still can't have a conversation. That doesn't mean that you got to be like, oh, I don't agree with what you said on that, so I'm gonna, like, no, we don't have to do that. We can have conversation. We're grown as adults. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And I'm like, Brian, sometimes it'll alienate contents. Sometimes it'll alienate people, the things that we do on the show, things that we talk about. But at the end of the day, I think I love talking about I love this, but I think there's more things in life that are more important than a TV show. You know what I mean? And those are the things that I like to talk about and get out there. So sometimes it may alienate people, but until someone says they don't want to do the show anymore, my co-host Roberto, we're going to continue to do it, but we're also going to continue to give you from content. You can separate my from content from my other content. That's fine. You know what I mean? But we still coming on here. We still doing from. Brian, that was a powerful rant. Everything you said was so true. Yeah. I didn't actually see it because I wasn't really well, but I kind of was listening a bit and I heard, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
I
Tank
got
said he
you.
cut it up and he's gonna make me do a thumbnail for it. Release it. I was like, all right, whatever, man.
Anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here. So I want you to, Brian, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, I'm 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. We go live on Mondays and Thursdays at 9:30, and then we do Silo season 2. We do all those episodes. We're gonna do them at 9:00 on Saturday nights until it's over, and then we go to Severance season 2, and we'll just keep it going. Saturday nights are our fun times, guys. And I'm old, so I don't need to go partying. So
facts. And From have good lessons you can apply in your personal life. Yeah, like don't fuck with Sarah. All right. You know what I mean? You see that chick walking down the street, you go the other way. 100%.
Grab your wallet and run the other way.
You just got here, Terrence. We've been here for 2.5 hours.
Yep.
It is time to get out of here because Brian, you still doing your show after?
I'm gonna do I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna watch what you call it right now. I watch Silo.
Absolutely. Sarah's the real MVP. Absolutely.
100%.
Agreed with you guys with everything you said. But with that being said, we are going to close it out. Peace, love, and hair grease. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Not next week, not the week after. We'll see you in 2 weeks. So thank you guys again for popping in. Always a pleasure. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.